Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable.
Revolution.
First, what is a revolution?
Revolution is the solution, hey.
The motive of a revolution.
Well, now,
The objective of a revolution.
be televised.
And the result of a revolution. And the methods used in a revolution.
I know you know. Put my gun away. Never gonna put my gun away. Put my gun away. See that might be better run away.
This generation of Americans has already had enough, more than enough, of war and hate and oppression.
Aristotle wrote that all men seek to know, and I find that when I go to these college campuses, that students deep down, they want to know, and it's time that we teach them something. We must steep our children in wisdom. How do you do that? You read the great books. You study Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Aquinas, Augustine. You guys should be here to read really old good books, to understand ancient philosophy, to become a well-rounded citizen of what is good, true, and beautiful. Religious freedom in the United States Constitution is unlike anything else. The more I study the framers and the founders, the more thankful I am to God that we live in this country. I can't tell you how profound, I believe, divinely inspired. Freedom cannot exist without virtue. And so freedom will come after, and it's happening right now. People go to church and give their life to God. You cannot have a free society if you do not have a society that values God. My kids are my most important thing in my world. My wife and my kids, my relationship with God, top three things, right? God, wife, kids, in that order. The necessity of virtue was fundamental to the American founding. The ability to pursue virtue without somebody getting in the way. The founding fathers designed this system of self-government, believing that only with a moral and religious people this was possible. The paramount issue of our time is the question of what is a human being? Is it an image bearer and something worthy of protection and dignity that has rights, or did it come into existence because of a splendid accident? Answer to that question dictates your politics, your morality, your government, your actions, all of it. We still have speech. We still have the ability to assemble and spread ideas. I think that a revival is not just, likely. I think it's inevitable. Courage is the ultimate virtue. Without it, there are no other virtues. Courage is committing yourself to the correct course of action, regardless of the cost associated to it. I want to be remembered for courage for my faith.
Hello, Internet. How are we this evening? Hope everybody is doing well. This is going to be a tough episode. This is going to be one of the toughest episodes I've done. I haven't put more hours into preparing an episode more than this one. So it's been a while. I'm in a new studio. I apologize for my washed out background. I know it looks terrible, but as the sun goes down, it'll start looking better. Wally World, Danny, Rapunzel, nice to see you guys. I don't think I'm seeing the Rumble chat in my screen here. Tell me if my audio sounds good. Did you guys hear the audio clearly on that clip I just played? I'm working with a new rig here, so this is my first show using this fancy new mixer that I got. So please let me know in the chat if my audio sounds all right and if the content audio sounds all right, if I need to bump it up. Okay, cool. Audio is good. Thank you, Rapunzel. So I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to go with this Charlie Kirk episode, and that's why it took me, 11 days out now. Today was his funeral, and it was a insanely packed stadium, and it really shows how many people genuinely appreciated and cared for Charlie and his importance in the conservative movement. And I mean, a lot of people have said this, and I'm feeling the same thing. Let's see. Sorry, I just got a text from my buddy John. A lot of people were saying that they weren't expecting it to hit them this hard. And that's exactly how I feel. I haven't been affected by the death of somebody that I've never met before harder than this Charlie Kirk thing. It with how horrific the scene was. Thanks, Lonnie. I don't know if you're on here. Yep, there you are, Danger. So I was at work and I got a text message from my buddy Danger here. It's in the chat, and I saw it on my watch, and I didn't really, he's always texting me goofy stuff, so I'll watch it, when I'm not so busy. I was slammed at work, and about an hour later, I opened it up. I saw the text come through, and it just said "not good." That's Lonnie, what you sent me, and so I obviously knew it was something that wasn't good. But then I clicked on it after about an hour of it sitting there, and it was the close-up. It was the close-up of Charlie getting shot. And at first I thought this has to be AI. Like this has to be a fake video. And on X, it auto scrolls to the next video, and the video is only, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 10 seconds long. And it auto scrolled to the next episode, and it was Megyn Kelly. I believe it was Megyn Kelly and Glenn Beck. And Megyn Kelly is crying, and so was Glenn. And then I knew it was real. And I mean, my generation hasn't really witnessed a political assassination. We saw the attempt on Trump's life, and if this Charlie Kirk thing illustrates anything, if that would have been a millimeter to the other direction and Trump would have died, things would have erupted into absolute chaos. But fortunately, he survived, and now we have had the most consequential political assassination of our generation. And I don't think we really know the impacts of this yet. It hasn't even been 2 weeks yet. And I think you're going to be seeing people. Charlie Kirk wasn't a politician. He was essentially a podcaster. He obviously ran Turning Point USA, and what he built was truly, it's amazing when you think about it. He started Turning Point when he was 18 years old. Millions of followers, millions of people would show up to the TPUSA or AmFest, America Fest. Tens of thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people would show up to those events. And then the thing that was most admirable about Charlie is he would put his opinions on the line. And we're all keyboard warriors, and it's easy to just say stuff and then ignore the comments. But Charlie took hard stances on things, on a lot of controversial topics, very hot button issues. And he had the balls to go, and people like to criticize him because he was just going up against college students, but that's not what he was there to do. He wasn't there to just go debate college students and own the libs. That's what Ben Shapiro did. Charlie took a much different approach, where he was much more conversational, and he wasn't going out there to be argumentative. He was genuinely trying to change people's minds and get them to look at things in a different perspective. And my neighbor, she doesn't know what I do. So she asked me if I heard about the Charlie Kirk thing, and she just starts talking. She was like, Charlie Kirk was the one that made me start looking at things in a different way. He's the one. She was like, I was a hardcore lib. I'm here in Santa Cruz, so it's like everybody's a freaking hardcore lib here, and it was pretty eye-opening seeing somebody say that Charlie Kirk actually changed her minds on things, or at least got her thinking of controversial issues in a different way, not from just a liberal perspective. And Charlie, it's easy to say after somebody dies because everybody feels bad, but Charlie really was a great man. He was a giant figure in the conservative movement, and his impact was huge. Trump may not have been elected if it wasn't for him, and the world lost a good guy. So that's what I want the sort of overall message of this episode to be. Unfortunately, we got to talk about all the other aspects of this shooting, this assassination, this horrible political assassination. And we're going to get into all aspects of it, and this might be a really long episode, but I want it to be done in the most respectful way. I don't want to get all tinfoily on it, but unfortunately, there's a lot of things that just aren't adding up, and the official narrative has a bunch of holes in it, and we need to talk about that. You know, I'm not going to present a theory and work backwards and try and get all of these different aspects of the story to fit my narrative, but it's important to point out what they're saying and then point out what's wrong with it. So that's what we're going to do. But before we get into all of that stuff, I want to just appreciate Charlie for the man he was for a little bit. So I'm going to play two different montages. Both are very wholesome and sort of heartwarming, also kind of sad. So get your tissue ready, because you guys might have seen these already. That intro that I played for you guys was done by Hillsdale College, and it was really well put together. So I thought I would open the show with that. But there's a couple of other montages that I would like to play, and this is one from Charlie's wife. And I don't know if she did this every day, but often she would ask him words of wisdom for the day, and that's what this one is. And it's kind of adorable. So let's watch this.
Words of wisdom for everyone today.
Grammar matters more than people realize.
Words of wisdom for today.
Learn how to say words backwards.
I don't think words of wisdom for today.
Power shows the man. You want to find out a lot about somebody, give them a bunch of power. Power shows the man.
Swipe up. Hit subscribe.
To the Charlie Kirk Show. We will be diving deep into Aristotle. We were just at Hillsdale, good school, great school. Only college.
Your words of wisdom for today.
Wise man loves to be corrected. Anyone that wants to replace error with truth is wise.
I will. What are your words of wisdom for today?
There's no other road ahead. Ask those coming back.
And where are we?
We're in an elevator. I like your hat.
Bibi. What are your words of wisdom for today?
Lost time is never found again. Games without something.
Words of wisdom from the mountain. Okay. What are your words of wisdom for today?
Happy Independence Day weekend, everybody. Say hello to Mikey. Hello. My words of wisdom. Speed is only useful if you're going in the right direction. But wisdom listens.
That's deep, babe. Anything else?
God bless the USA.
And swipe up and hit
Our
subscribe.
podcast. Hit subscribe. God bless America. Right, Fife? Okay, this is the winner of our poll. MAGA Moosey over low energy, disappointing RNC. Is that right? Right, Gigi? MAGA Moosey wins. Ultra MAGA Moosey. To taste your words before you spit them out.
Babe. What are your words of wisdom for today?
He who lies with dogs will rise with fleas.
Right here. Yeah.
I do need to get a haircut.
What are your words of wisdom for today? What are your words of wisdom for today?
Hello, everybody. Hope you've been enjoying this. Sorry to surprise. Counting other people's sins does not make you a saint.
Izzy, be so good. Okay, baby. What are your words of wisdom for all these women out here today? Here's your notes.
I have my notes here. And you'll have to tune into the speech and find out. But I came up with this line.
Okay, what is it?
The trans delusion is relabeled tyrannical patriarchy posing as tolerance.
Why are we getting that one?
Because he's just the perfect width. Not too fat, not too skinny.
Hope we got the right one.
This one's perfect. All right, we're done.
No. Are you the tree expert?
tree expert. After many decades of living in the Midwest, I know a good tree. Best thing I ever made.
So it just kind of shows I mean, the left wanted to paint Charlie as this racist, bigoted, Nazi type figure. And you could see from that little montage there that he was just a dude, kind of a dorky dude that didn't take himself too seriously. But he had a philosophy. He was a thinker. You could tell that he spent a lot of time thinking about right and wrong. And his beliefs weren't just talking points that he spouted off like so many podcasters out there. He spent a lot of time thinking about positions he took, and he took those positions for a good reason. And as we'll get into later, some of those positions that he took, you can tell that he started rethinking some of those positions. So that is also one of the important things about him going to these campuses and having these debates with all these college kids, because some of them, I think, actually had an impact on Charlie and what his perspectives were on some things. And I think he might have been changing his mind on something that we'll get into a little bit later. So I have one other little montage that I want to share, because this one's shorter, but it's also kind of heartwarming. And this first part of it, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this. It got me. When I first saw this, it freaking got me. It's a video of him on the set at I think it's Fox and Friends, and he his daughter comes up with somebody. It's not his. I don't think that's his wife. It's some assistant or something. His little daughter comes up in a cute little dress with little ribbons in her hair, and she kind of sneaks up. She walks up like timidly, and then when she gets within like eye shot of Charlie, she runs at him and she says, "Hi, Daddy." And you can tell that Charlie's world just stops in that moment, and his whole focus is just his daughter. And it's like the epitome of men only want one thing, and it's wholesome as hell. And that's the beginning of this montage, but it's got a lot of stuff after that, and it's just Charlie with his family. Oh, sorry, I think I screwed that up for you guys. It's been a while, so that's what happens when I don't do a stream for a while. I forget how to be a podcaster. So I think it's this one here. Yeah. All right. Play.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee. His grace uncrowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
We were robbed of a great man. Charlie's family was robbed of a wonderful. His kids were robbed of a wonderful father. His wife was robbed of a wonderful husband. And it's, I mean, a lot of people, I had mixed emotions when this whole thing happened. At first, I was in disbelief. After that, I was super sad. After that, I just started getting more pissed and more pissed as all these insane leftists started just saying horrible shit about him. And the thing that sucks most about that is that's what Charlie was trying to combat with going out to these college campuses and talking to people about these hot button issues. Again, he wasn't going out there trying to own the libs. He was going out there trying to change minds and find some sort of compromise, some sort of place in the middle that we could meet. I mean, the whole right-left divide thing, back when I was a kid and years before that, you would have the Democrats and the Republicans, and it was kind of like we agree on the same problems, but we have different approaches on how to get there. And it seemed much more civil back in the 90s and before that, where it was just like people just disagreed on how to get to the best places. And now it's like the left and the right are living in two alternate realities. The left thinks that Charlie Kirk was some sort of Hitlerian figure, a fascist, a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, all these things. And if you have the corporate press saying things like that about people on the right for long enough, it's going to get driven into these sub 105 IQ midwit psychopaths' brains, and somebody's going to go out and do some dumb shit like shoot Charlie Kirk because they think he's evil. I mean, if you call somebody Hitler enough times, how long until somebody goes and tries to kill Hitler? And I mean, even though there's lots of holes in the official narrative, that does seem like what happened here. And I wish we lived in a world where the official narrative, we could just go with it. We could just say, you know what? Yep, that's what happened. I trust what the government said here. This was a thorough investigation. They gave us all the facts. But I don't trust the government at all. I don't trust any official narrative. I mean, did they lie about the official narrative around JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, 9/11, COVID, the financial crash? Shit. I mean, everything is a bunch of lies and spin and trying to subdue the public so we don't actually realize that we're being run by a bunch of psychopaths that want to subjugate us and take all the wealth for themselves and, keep us useless eaters down. Anyway, the leftists went absolutely insane. I will say, though, that the internet isn't real. And I didn't meet one single person in real life out here celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and I'm surrounded by leftards all over the place. I saw a guy driving around in his Prius 2 days ago, windows down, mask on. No joke. It's almost the end of 2025, and there's still people doing that shit. I'm surrounded by these people. I didn't see anybody in real life actually celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Not to say that there wasn't anyone, because I'm sure there was, but I didn't personally see it. So, take all these leftist psychopaths with a grain of salt, and it's probably only like 10 to 15% of them. But again, if the corporate press is calling people on the right racists, bigots, homophobes, Nazis for long enough, how long until everybody just accepts that as fact? Who is it that said the typical person only needs to hear a lie 3 times before it becomes the truth? Somebody said something along those lines, and that, like Russiagate. How many people still believe Russiagate? The very fine people on both sides hooks, all that shit. It's the corporate press. I feel like the corporate press murdered Charlie Kirk, and Charlie was a good guy. He wasn't what they said he was. So let's get into all these freaking leftist psychopaths that were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Was that, Lonnie? 20 to 30,000 people at Charlie Kirk service? That's insane. That's insane. And it's good to see. It's good to see. It's good to hear. All right. This is a montage of crazy leftists celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk that Pierce Morgan put together. Well, Pierce Morgan's staff.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah, ooh.
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches. Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I could not be happier.
I will not ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
Fucking stoked right now. You want to know why I'm so fucking stoked? Fucking yes!
CK got AK'd. And he's gone.
He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
We got Charlie and Nanette. We got Charlie and Nanette.
There are hundreds, thousands, maybe more examples like this.
Ding dong, the witch.
Yeah, I mean, it pisses me off, and I'm sure it pisses you guys off too. But I think Charlie wouldn't even get mad. He would pray for these people and hope that they find. If you're doing this, you're a miserable person. Guaranteed. You're miserable everywhere you go. Your relationships suck. Everyone around you fucking can't stand you because you're a piece of shit. That's how all these people are. Guaranteed. So this is why they're celebrating the death of somebody. Who does this? Who does it? I mean, did they celebrate this much when they killed Osama bin Laden? Probably not. Probably not. But they're really happy that Charlie Kirk got assassinated. These people are miserable, garbage human beings. So let's continue with the miserable, garbage human beings. So this was one of the craziest ones that I saw. This guy, these are some of the insane people that are actually out there.
Oh man, did you guys see that? That activist in America, Charlie Kirk, he got shot. Did you see that? That guy loves gun violence and he got shot. Did you see that? Oh man, Charlie Kirk. You know, to the Charlie Kirk family. Did you see all that blood that came out of his body? I was like, whoa. To every Zionist, every Christian Zionist, may you be just like that shop, the Target. All his followers, just like the shop, the Target. I'm not saying that violence isn't the way, so don't misconstrue my words, okay? Did you see all that blood? That dude's dead. There is a fucking God.
Like, that's the kind of stuff, if I see it in person, that might make me turn violent. And it's just, dude's sick. Dude's freaking sick. And I mean, what's funny is he mentioned what I criticize Charlie Kirk the most about, being a Christian Zionist. That's what I criticize him the most about. It's not a time for that. I don't understand how, like, that person's clearly a psychopath and also a miserable person. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Here's some of the comments that people were saying out there. So this guy, Charlie Kirk, only got half of what he deserved. By all accounts, it was instant rather than prolonged and painful. Just this guy, Robbie Warden, show that loser Charlie Kirk getting shot and dying. Deserved to be shot long ago. I want to see him go down. Fuck off, MAGA. And you've got throw the brick. Charlie Kirk got exactly what he deserved. Talk shit, get hit. Heisenberg. Oh, Charlie Kirk. He was a huge chunk of dog shit who deserved to lose it all entirely. Fuck all the way off. Somebody over on Blue Sky. There you go. I got kicked off Blue Sky for my first post ever. I said, evening retards, is this where I find Don Lemon? And they suspended me. So I got kicked off the Blue Sky. I can't be on there anymore. So this is from, I don't know, something VV. Florida teacher here going on the record to say Charlie Kirk was a complete fuckhead and deserved worse. It's a teacher. That's somebody teaching kids. Then you've got This douchebag. Honestly, fuck Charlie Kirk. Glad he got what he deserved. He doesn't deserve a single recognition. All these fucking bootlickers worshiping him is so fucking gross. I can't wait to go to get the fuck out next year. Get the fuck out where? America? Please leave. Also on Blue Sky. I think these are all from Blue Sky. What was this last one? What did that last one say? I missed it. Last one. Charlie Kirk was a violent fascist who suffered less than he deserved. The world is better without him. Oz, also over on Blue Sky. For the record, fuck Charlie Kirk. That Nazi deserved to die. I call people retards on Blue Sky. I get suspended immediately. And then you got all these people over there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and their accounts are still up. I guarantee it. Like, that's who used to be running Twitter. If you guys don't know, Blue Sky is the social media account that Jack Dorsey opened, the original creator of Twitter, after Elon bought Twitter. So this is where all the leftists went, and this is how Twitter used to be. You could say anything you wanted to the right, but if, like, I got suspended on Twitter once for calling someone a wench. I also got suspended one time for asking two dudes if they were done jerking each other off yet. Got suspended both those times, but they can like make death threats to you and nothing will happen to them. Florida teacher here is still employed. Oh, so this is the same chick, the teacher from Florida. Florida teacher here is still employed even after holding a mirror up to Charlie Kirk. He was a rotten bastard that deserved more pain. Rotten hell, you racist balloon head dipshit. Unreal. What do we got next? This is Frank. Exactly. Refused to act as if Charlie Kirk was not a despicable human being who deserved what he got by virtue of his actions. Who we got next? This is better on the drums over at Blue Sky. Charlie Kirk only got half of what he deserved. By all accounts, it was an instant. Oh yeah, this was the first one that I played. So okay, we're done. We're done with those. So this was some dude out of the UK that was putting on a concert. And it was he tried to backtrack the next day, and I believe this guy can't play in the US anymore. I think his visa got revoked for this. But this is Bobby Violin, who had something to say about Charlie Kirk's passing, and then he tried to backtrack it the next day. So let's listen to his apology. Then you guys tell me if you think that he's being sincere here.
Yo, real quick. At no point during yesterday's show was Charlie Kirk's death celebrated.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of shit of a human being.
At no point whatsoever did we celebrate Charlie Kirk's death.
The pronouns was, were.
I did call him a piece of shit. That much is true. But at no point was his death celebrated. If it was, go find me a quote, go find me something that proves that we were celebrating his death.
Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, you piece of shit!
You're not going to find it, because it didn't happen.
Because if you chat shit, you will get banned!
What did happen is one reporter that bought their ticket online came with the sole purpose of finding something to report, and after I called him a piece of shit and we played a song, they have written that up as a celebration. Not a celebration.
Oh shit!
Isn't a celebration. Wasn't a celebration. Calm down.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of shit of a human being. The pronouns was, were. Because if you chat shit, you will get banned! Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, you piece of shit! Oh shit!
Yeah, what do you guys think? Was that celebrating? Seemed like he was celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and then he starts crying, saying, "Oh, it wasn't me. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing." as soon as his visa got revoked and he started getting massive backlash online. What a garbage human. What also a coward. If you're going to talk shit, at least stand next to your opinions. Guy's a puss. All right, so this actually relates to California here. So this was you guys remember Trump ordered that everybody lower their flags to half staff for a certain period of time. I think it was up through today, actually. He ordered all government buildings lower their flag to half staff. Well, Mayor Karen Bass out of LA said, no, you guys aren't going to do that just for shits, you know? So that's what she decided to do. And this is from Anthony Cabasa over on X. He says, an LAFD source has sent me an internal email that Mayor of LA has instructed Los Angeles city flags not be displayed at half staff. So this is from Data Republican here and had some interesting stuff to say. So she says, people need to understand the significance of this action. Karen Bass, Mayor of LA, is not some crazy leftist mayor. She once sat at the helm of one of the U.S. most important foreign policy instruments, the NED, the State Department-funded NGO that replaced many of the CIA's dark arts during the Cold War. NED's euphemisms of democracy promotion mask what she really does: regime change, narrative control, and soft power warfare on behalf of Washington. Bass was vice chair. That meant she had real authority in shaping covert U.S. influence operations across the globe. Her hands were on the levers that affect revolutions, uprisings, and destabilization of governments. This is a woman whose history includes openly being a communist operative for Castro. Washington knew exactly who she was when she was put into that role. She is not a local politician who somehow slipped through. She represents many subversives who operate from within, fomenting a color revolution here in the United States. So when Bass refuses to lower the flag for a murdered American, it is far more than pettiness. If it means the same apparatus that she creates coups abroad is at work inside America, and it has no intention of showing respect for its political enemies, and you are their political enemy. So, I mean, this is the whole I don't know if you call this the Howard Piven strategy, but it's like everything is done just to get, it's the whole divide and conquer thing, you know, where you just want to create as much political division amongst society as possible to get people to hate each other. So she's like, you know, there's just one extra step. I know what we're going to do to just piss people off, not lower the flags to half staff. I mean, and then, you know, it's kind of weird how she was gone during the LA fires over there. And I believe she went to Uganda. Karen Bass is, I mean, look at LA. Look what's happened to LA. She's doing to LA what Gavin Newsom did to San Francisco. It's what Shang Tao did to Oakland, even though Shang Tao isn't like a political operative. She's just a corrupt idiot. And she just got indicted, by the way. Shang Tao, the mayor out of Oakland. So that should be interesting. I'll be talking about that hopefully on Wednesday. All right, let's keep going here, because now we're going to talk about the ultimate shitty human on the left, Destiny. You guys know Destiny? He's a Twitch streamer who got demonetized on Twitch, from my understanding, and I think he actually got demonetized on YouTube too. And that's because he's such a scum of the earth piece of shit. So let's just listen to what Destiny had to say about. He was just talking about conservatives in general here.
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't give a fuck about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies and gets shot or whatever the fuck, okay? Because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. The entire world would be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms. Like, there is no downside and only upside to see people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool never be allowed to publicly broadcast their opinions ever again. It's exclusively bad stuff that happens. Conservative.
So he wants to silence everybody on the right. Every influential conservative on the right, he wants to completely silence him. These are the people that if they were put in power, they would throw people in the cage. They would throw people in the gulags. 100%. They 100% would murder people because they disagree with their opinions if they had the power to do so. That's who this guy is. And he talks about how conservatives were celebrating the Paul Pelosi thing. There was people cracking jokes about it because it was a weird situation. some random homeless hobo broke into Pelosi's home with a hammer, a home that has insane security and 24/7 armed security guards in Pacific Heights, probably the most secure home in Pacific Heights. And this guy breaks through the back door with a hammer and then gets Paul Pelosi in his underwear and whacks him in the head. Yeah, it was weird. There's a lot of people cracking jokes about it because it was a weird freaking situation. I mean, the video, the body cam shit's crazy, but there was nobody that would, well, I'm not gonna say nobody, but I mean, I talked about it on my episode when it happened. And I said, like, this is horrible. I don't want to see Paul Pelosi get hit in the head with a hammer, but this is weird. This is definitely weird. And it's, I might have said something tasteless about it. I mean, it's not funny that Paul Pelosi got hit in the head with a hammer, but the scene was funny. I mean, he's there in his underwear and the guy's acting super weird, and it also didn't make sense. So, like, I got a little tinfoily about it. Like, how the hell did that guy get into the house in the first place unless he was let in? It's just a weird situation. So a lot of people are talking about the Paul Pelosi thing, comparing some hobo that didn't really have a political leaning breaking into Paul Pelosi's house, hitting him with a hammer. Paul Pelosi didn't die. Comparing that to Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck, bleeding out in front of his children, in front of a national audience. Like, really? That's the comparison you're going to make? You fucking piece of shit. That's who Destiny is. I can't stand the guy. Here's a little more of Destiny. This one's even worse.
Out the crime statistics? Not exactly like
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Okay. I'm done today. I don't give a fuck. God, it's going to be so fucking gay if I get killed in the next fucking 2 months of shit I'm doing. Well, the cuck shit out here. Please don't anybody make any actual fucking, the most cucked, weak-ass, fucking bullshit-ass speeches on my side. God, if it happens, holy shit, I'm going to make a death note before I go out to go live and not. God, it's so cucked. It's so optics cucked.
It's weird him calling anything cucked because he'd like to sit and watch his wife get banged by other dudes. That's not hyperbole. That's a real thing. He was actually into that. His wife had that kind of open relationship, and I think they're divorced now. Weird how that didn't work out. So that's Destiny talking about how conservatives should be fearful of their life when they speak in public, right? So did you guys know that Destiny was actually doing his own tour where he followed Charlie Kirk around? He followed around TPUSA and he was trying to be the counter Charlie Kirk. I mean, you're sort of the Antichrist at that point, right? So I'm not calling Charlie Kirk Christ, but in comparison, Destiny is an evil, garbage, piece of shit human being compared to Charlie Kirk. And he was following TPUSA events around, trying to do the opposite.
We've all heard the vile statements that Destiny made about Charlie's life being taken from him. But did you know that the guy who was speaking to Charlie when he was unalived was a guy who was part of Destiny's Unfuck America's tour? If you haven't heard of Unfuck America, the Unfuck America tour, look who that is, was scheduled to follow Turning Point around and counter all of Turning Point's events. That's why this guy was speaking to Charlie when Charlie was unalive. Now, of course, if you go to unfuckamericatour.com, you'll see this message pop up, and they're talking about how disturbed they are about what happened to Charlie. They're saying that they're grieving, and please give them space while they can grieve. Again, Destiny is their lead creator, and he's making these comments about Charlie and people who think like Charlie. Everyone who works for Turning Point should get a restraining order against him immediately so that he or anyone who works for him is not allowed to show their ass up at these Turning Point events. I've noticed that not a lot of you guys know about this. And why do I know about this? Because one of these people that's part of this tour follows me. She actually seems quite fucking reasonable. She seems like a decent person. That's how I know about this. I'm just saying, I don't understand why, and I guess it's because no one knows, but this needs to be like mainstream news. What the actual
So, I mean, you heard what Charlie Kirk was saying there about how they need to be fearing for their lives. and he's following around TPUSA and Charlie Kirk, and then Charlie Kirk gets shot in the neck. I mean, I don't want to silence anybody, but this is insane. He's intentionally trying to radicalize people to commit violence. He's actually trying to do that. He's not explicitly instructing people to go out and commit violence, but he might as well be, because that's the entire message of everything that Destiny stands for. He's a garbage human being, and he's not smart. People think he's smart because he talks really fast, because he's on mass amounts of Adderall or something. I mean, listen to his debate with Norm Finkelstein. It's absurd, because he has no clue what he's talking about, and he's debating with somebody that's written like 90 books on the topic they're debating. And Norman Finkelstein calls him a fantastic moron. It's great. It was one of the greatest lines I've ever heard, and I need to start calling people that, because it's just a funny thing to call somebody a fantastic moron. And Destiny is a fantastic moron. So that's enough of the outrage bait. That again, this is a very small percentage of the population that are actually cheering for Charlie Kirk's death. There was a lot of people on the left that were very upset about this, that were broken up. And this next clip is Mark Ruffalo and who's the guy from The Office that played Dwight? I can't remember his name. Oh, it's right here. Rainn Wilson. So Rainn Wilson and Mark Ruffalo are talking about the Charlie Kirk event. And this is from Colin Rugg. He says, actor Rainn Wilson says his liberal friends were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk at an event he recently attended. And this is Hollywood people. So they're like completely detached from reality anyway. These aren't normal people. They're freaking in their own stupid bubble. And he says actor Mark Ruffalo then went on to blame the assassination on guns. Pathetic is what he says here. So Mark Ruffalo is super annoying, but like, that's not what I got from this. Yes, he does somehow in his silly logic think that gun control would have stopped this in some regard, even though it was a bolt action rifle, allegedly. So like, what are you going to do about that? How, like, it's literally a hunting rifle. It's freaking, you got to pull the bolt back every time you pull the trigger. So like, how would any sort of gun control stop this unless you want to take away all the guns? That's the only way this would have stopped this. And there's no way you're taking away all the guns. It's not going to happen. Anyway, that wasn't what I got out of this from Mark Ruffalo. From my perspective, Mark Ruffalo actually seemed upset about what happened to Charlie Kirk, and he genuinely wants to find a way to stop this. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, when the left used to be like, we agree there's a problem, right? So like the left and the right both agree that school shootings and mass shootings are a problem. Assassinations are a problem, and it needs to be addressed. The left thinks gun control will do it. The right thinks everybody walking around armed and well-trained with their firearm is the best way to approach it. So we are identifying the same problem. We agree that it's a problem. We have completely different ways to approach it. I can talk with somebody like that. I can have a conversation and try to be productive about that. We're agreeing on the same problem, or we're agreeing that it is a problem. So I think we should give some grace when listening to Mark Ruffalo here. Let's just listen to this conversation.
While I didn't agree with his ideas, shooting someone that we disagree with, even if they're vociferous and loud and out there, is so colossally wrong-headed. I spoke to a couple of, let's say, some liberal friends last night at an event, and they were like, you won't find me shedding any tears. And someone else was like, oh, well, there was a little bit of a kind of a good riddance thing. And it's like, guys, no.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I know.
We cannot think or talk that way.
Not at all.
That is not
It's
okay.
so dangerous, man. I mean, my first thought was, also we had another school shooting.
Yeah. Which totally got buried in the headlines.
Got buried in the headlines. Of course it would, though. And listen, I'm someone who, my brother was murdered. I lost my brother through gun violence.
So you could tell he's compassionate about this issue. You could tell that he's not like a heartless piece of shit. It's like, yes, I think he has horrible ideas, but he's a genuine, he seems like a genuine person here. So I'm like, let's sort of give him a little grace. He's not evil. He's just retarded.
And so this is a real personal topic for me. there's no winning. We'll never win this way. There's no idea that if we cheer on our opponents being hurt or harmed in any way, that we win as a society. And we all lose. Like those, I know what his family is going through. Like I understand that on such a personal level. And it's a tragedy that not only the person who is killed experiences, but the entire family and community around that person. Like this is no joke, you know? And so it does break my heart, even for someone that is not my political opponent, who would probably call me an idiot.
Now I want to push back, but I want to push back on you a little bit for even using the word opponent.
Right.
Like someone who disagrees with, who we disagree with, even vehemently, and we think they're sending the country in exactly the opposite wrong direction that goes against even Jesus's teachings himself. Like, how can we reframe it from opponent to, just someone we disagree with? I don't know what the word is exactly.
Yeah. Maybe that is the wrong word, but it's someone who's, we might be on complete ideological opposite ends of the world, but this is the problem in the world. Like, where do we go when violence is the only solution?
Yeah.
Like that's the final solution, that ethos is what we're going to embrace.
Yeah.
Which is where we're at now. I mean, people are walking.
And that's exactly what Charlie was trying to combat. Charlie would have talked to you. He would have been happy to have a conversation with you. And it would have been in good faith. It would have been, you want to talk to Charlie about gun control specifically. You want to talk about school shootings, mass shootings, assassinations. He would have talked to you about that, and he would have done it in good faith, and it wouldn't have just been trying to own the libs. The problem is, from my experience, the left just wants to drive their point home. They don't want to hear anything you have to say. Gun control is the only answer. It's the guns. It's the guns. And there's no conversation around it whatsoever. And I mean, the hardcore leftists that want gun control, they don't want gun control. They want to ban guns. And they haven't thought through what that means. They're not going to be the ones that ban guns. They just want someone else with guns to go take your guns. They want to go door to door and forcefully take your guns away. I ran a poll on Twitter a couple of days ago asking if the government outlawed guns and they made a mandatory minimum 10-year sentence, how many of you would turn in your guns? It was 99 to 1%. That means, just on that small sample size, that people aren't going to give their guns over. So what does that mean? It means people are going to die if you try to take guns away. It means that citizens are going to die, and bet your ass, police are going to die if you try to do this. And it's an impossible undertaking. I don't think they realize how many guns there are in America and how many well-trained former soldiers, people that are just hobbyists, hunters that know how to handle their weapon and will not give them up. There's not enough manpower. And if you try to do it, people are going to die. You're going to have more people die from the gun confiscations than are dying in gang violence and mass shootings right now. America was built on guns, and it's in our DNA. There's no getting rid of it. Guns are here to stay. The only way to fix this, I'm not saying more guns, but I kind of am, is everyone, if you don't want to own a gun, go learn how to fire one and use one. Have one in your hands, fire some rounds downrange, see what the gun actually does, learn about it. As soon as people shoot firearms, especially several times, they usually go the other direction on gun control because they realize it's an inanimate object. You guys see my guns back there? They haven't shot anybody ever. No, these guns, they haven't ever shot anyone. It's weird. They just stay there unless I take them to the range and shoot at paper. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent.
Walking around with weapons of war. This is a weapon of war. I mean, I don't know what killed him, but more often than not, we're seeing people killed with weapons of war that are
It was a sniper rifle. So
yeah,
this
for
was
nothing
planned.
more than to kill human beings.
No. And he said a sniper rifle. It was a hunting rifle. And Mark Ruffalo says, with no other point than to kill human beings. No, Mark Ruffalo, this is why you're so ignorant on the matter. It was a bolt action 30-06 rifle that's for hunting. It's a very accurate rifle that's for killing deer. Yes, it could be used to kill a human, obviously. And the person who does that is evil if they're just killing somebody for shits and giggles because they disagree with their political opinions. Mark Ruffalo thinks that a freaking Mauser 30-06 bolt-action rifle from the early 1900s is a weapon of war. I mean, guess technically it was. It was used in World War I, and that's why the M1 Garand won that war, because it was a semi-auto rifle, predecessor to the AR. Anyway, Mark Ruffalo has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And that's the stuff that's so infuriating about this. And I wish he would get some pushback on it. I wish he'd go to the range and fire all these different weapons and learn about all these different weapons and what they do.
That's what these weapons are for, you know? And so when we keep signing off on that as a nation, we're signing off on more and more of when you keep signing off on those weapons being acceptable, you're actually tacitly signing off on them being used on human beings as the ultimate solution to conflict, any kind of conflict.
See, what he's saying is insane because he doesn't understand what he's saying. Again, this isn't an AR with a 50-round magazine, semi-auto. They already got rid of what is an assault rifle, the fully auto, hold down the trigger, and it'll keep firing until the mag's completely dumped. That's not what he's talking about. He's not talking about ARs where you can, one bullet, one pull of the trigger with 50-round magazines. He's not talking about shorter barrels, silencers, extended magazines. He's not talking about any of that. He's talking about bolt-action rifles. So, according to Mark Ruffalo, because he doesn't know what he's talking about, the only way to do this would be to get rid of hunting rifles. Now that's what they're talking about. And I mean, Gavin Newsom's already trying to ban Glocks in California. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Yes, Gavin Newsom's trying to ban semi-automatic pistols in California because of Glock switches. So any pistol that you could put a button on the back of, which people that go buy Glocks at the store, they don't go and get a freaking Glock switch or a button. That's what you see all the freaking gang members using, the fully auto Glocks. They decided they're going to pass legislation to legislate something that's already illegal. I've had enough of this Mark Ruffalo clip. I can't listen to him anymore. He makes me angry. But again, I think he's at least coming from a good place. He's not evil. He's just stupid. So, okay. Let me calm down a little bit. So fortunately, there's a lot of people on the left that are denouncing everything that just happened. And there's a lot of people walking away from the left because they're seeing how they're celebrating. So this is from Brandon Straka with Walkaway, the walkaway.org, the Walkaway movement. And you guys don't know Brandon Straka. He is a former Democrat that started the Walkaway movement when he left the Democrats and started essentially campaigning for Republicans. So watch this quick clip because it's a bunch of people reacting. It's a bunch of people on the left reacting to other people on the left.
Yes, he deserves to die, and I hope he brings it hell.
The left has a violence problem, and Charlie Kirk being shot is proof.
I just came here to announce my official divorce from the Democratic Party.
Going forward after today and seeing how liberals and leftists and Democrats are acting towards this, I am never voting Democrat again. Ever again. For the rest of my life, I will always vote Republican.
This Charlie Kirk thing kind of put the nail in the coffin of me being a Democrat. I was slowly moving away from it anyway because I was noticing certain things.
Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow, that's good.
The reason I am so critical of the Democratic Party right now is because I literally just left it, just like a lot of other people.
Whoever did this just fucked up. And I'm seeing a lot of people who were on the left say that they're no longer going to be on the left anymore.
Since leaving the Democratic Party, I no longer have an oppressed, depressed mindset. I hold myself accountable for my actions. I'm closer to God.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow.
Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed today. We're just getting people's opinions. How do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it.
Notice how the majority of these people are on college campuses. It's because college campuses are indoctrination camps. Not all of, but the vast majority of the professors at these college campuses are radical leftists that could not exist in regular society. So they stay in academia because all they do is stroke off each other's ideas. And that's the ultimate bubble. It's the ultimate echo chamber. They are pro-socialism and communism, and they don't have a skilled bone in their body. They wouldn't be able to exist outside of academia. So what do? They force feed their horrible ideas into young, impressionable students to make them behave like this and celebrate the murder of Charlie Kirk because this person was probably told that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi.
And that's how I feel at this point in time.
So breaking fucking news, Charlie Kirk got shot in the fucking neck. That was the last bastion. I can't be a liberal no fucking more. You see the fucking comments? I hope the gun is okay.
Democrats right now, it seems like all they think about is, oh my God, he disagreed with me. Oh my God, he doesn't agree with me. Oh my God, he disagreed with me. I'm sorry, but I cannot be a part of a party that's doing that because that's not a party. That is a cult.
If you voted Democrat like I did, you voted for a party that does not exist anymore.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Well, breaking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chuckle Kirk.
This party has lost its way. The Democratic Party, let's be honest, has become demonic and barbaric. And I, as a Christian, can't be a part of that anymore.
If you actually believe in free speech, if you actually believe in democracy, you cannot be cheering on violence just because it's happening to one of your political opponents. This isn't how healthy countries act, and this isn't going to end well for anyone.
This is disgusting. A lot of people are acting really gross about this, and I feel horrible for his family. It's honestly just like kind of scary. He was so young and he was just on a college campus debating.
In 5th grade, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a sinner. I'm selfish. I'm broken. And only thanks to Jesus' perfect sacrifice, coming and living a perfect life, that I get something I do not earn, but has been given to me, this free gift of eternal life.
They should see this video so they can understand what the left is really about. So they can know when they see people dancing and laughing in celebration that Charlie Kirk is dead, that this is what they want.
Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, Mommy, I missed you. I said, I miss you too, baby. She goes, where's Daddy? What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus.
The tide is turning as well, and you can tell because all of the people that you saw celebrating in this video, these are the same people that would try to get you fired from your job for wearing a MAGA hat or having a Trump bumper sticker. And you would get screamed and denounced, and your employer might even possibly just, you know what, you do have to get out of here because your MAGA hat is inflicting emotional damage on people. Well, that's changing because these people have been emboldened they'll say this shit at work. They'll openly espouse these insane political views at work because they think that's what the majority of the public is. The majority of the public's in line with them. And they're not. They're not. Most people don't pay attention to politics. Most people don't want to, and they don't have the time. Most people are right down the middle. They don't look at things. They don't look at heavy political issues like DEI, the trans stuff, gun control. They don't look at this stuff in depth and really dive into the issue. So they have like a cursory understanding of it. And they're just like, yeah, you know, gay people should have equal rights. And yeah, you know, there's too many mass shootings. And so their default position is there should be some sort of gun control. Somebody more powerful and smart than me should take people's guns away. People that are crazy that shouldn't have guns. So they don't think like, okay, what's the mechanism for taking people's guns away? How do you determine someone's crazy? Who determines that someone is crazy? They don't dive deep into these issues. Most people are right down the middle, and they're not like radicals. These leftists are freaking radicals, and the tide is turning. Like, people aren't going to be able to get away with this shit anymore at work. If people are openly celebrating the murder, the assassination of a non-politician even, like, the tide is turning, and you can feel it even here in California. So let's keep going here. I'm not going to play that one. That was already part of the last clip. All right. So this is Jamie Lee Curtis. She is like the ultimate leftist, right? Any of you guys that know Jamie Lee Curtis? Jamie Lee Curtis from, I mean, tons of movies. Wasn't she in Thelma and Louise? She was in that Arnold movie. She's a huge star in the 80s and 90s. Anyway, she's an ultimate leftist. And here she is talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination. And yeah, she does not agree with Charlie Kirk on anything, but you could tell she's broken up about it.
Charlie Crist was killed 2 days ago.
Yeah, Charlie.
I'm sorry.
Kirk. Right?
Kirk. I just call him Crist. I think because of Christ.
Thank you, Danger. Yes, she was the main character in the movie, in the Halloween movies, the original Halloween movies. Mike Myers behind me. I should have known that.
Yeah,
because of his deep belief.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagreed with him on almost every point I ever heard him say.
Yeah.
But I believe he was a man of faith. And I hope in that moment when he died that he felt connected to his faith, even though I find his ideas were abhorrent to me.
Yeah.
I still believe he's a father and a husband and a man of faith. And I hope whatever connection to God means that he felt it. Yesterday was 9/11. I know there is video of his assassination. I know people who've seen it. Yesterday, we watched again these images of those buildings coming down. We as a society are bombarded with imagery. So we don't know what the longitudinal effects of seeing those towers come down over and over and over and over again, or watching his execution over and over and over again. We watched the Zapruder film, by the way, my birthday, November 22nd.
All right, you get her point. You understand. So she was definitely broken up about it. And she raises a really good point there. When I was a kid, 90s, early 2000s, the internet, you know, social media wasn't the thing. The internet was in its infancy. And you didn't see videos of people dying. Like, you just didn't see it. I remember back in the late 90s, they started having the Faces of Death films or movies or whatever. And some of my friends were like into them. They would want to watch them. And it was just videos. Like, it was usually CCTV footage of like people getting killed. And I never wanted to watch that shit. But now, I mean, with like all the horrific videos you see coming out of Gaza and this Charlie Kirk shooting, and the woman Irina who got stabbed, on the Ukrainian woman that got stabbed on the light rail. I can't remember what city that was in. I mean, that happened just like a week before the Charlie Kirk assassination. And an hour before learning about the Charlie Kirk assassination, I was talking to a coworker about how horrific that was. I mean, you watch that video of Irina getting stabbed, I mean, it's fucking horrific. It's not just the stabbing's horrific, but her reaction to it, how terrified she was when she looks up at him. You see that freeze frame picture of her legs coming up and her arms all close to her legs, and she's just terrified. And she knows that she's been like mortally wounded. And she just puts her face into her hands and dies. Like, I don't think we're supposed to be seeing stuff like this on a regular basis. This can't be good for our mental health. This can't be good for anybody's mental health. And we're just seeing it all the time there. So Jamie Lee Curtis brings up a really good point there. Like, we're not built for this. We're not, I mean, soldiers getting PTSD. I mean, people are going to start getting PTSD from the internet. We shouldn't be seeing this so much that we become desensitized to people dying right in front of us. It's bad. This isn't good, folks. So this is the last one. So, okay, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but it's like a big thing. So we'll just talk about it really quick. The Jimmy Kimmel thing. So Jimmy Kimmel got fired, apparently. So I'm going to talk about this very briefly because, yes, I have an opinion on it, but frankly, I don't give a shit that much. I really don't give a shit about this whole situation that much, but it's worth talking about a little bit.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
To be fair, this isn't a good look for Trump, his reaction to that, to be fair.
Which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a...
Danger, was that a fake video? Really? Okay, so my apologies if that video of Trump that they just played isn't real. My apologies. I was unaware of that. That's the thing. It sucks too, is we don't know what's real anymore.
Goldfish, okay?
But okay, so that's what Jimmy Kimmel got fired for, allegedly. Jimmy Kimmel's views, his viewership, they were hemorrhaging money with his show. And apparently the FCC started, is it NBC that he was with? Whatever organization, NBC, ABC, whatever. The FCC started pressuring NBC to fire Jimmy Kimmel over those comments, which to me are like, that's insane. Of all the things they have said, like, that's the worst, that's the line in the sand. But okay, FCC starts pressuring them that they're going to pull some of their permits or licensing or some shit like that. And NBC apparently just rolled over and said, you know, okay, we're going to fire him. I heard that they might have issued him an ultimatum where he can come out and apologize for his statements and they'll let him keep his job, and he refused to do so. I don't know if that's the case. Here's my thing. Yes, I don't agree with the FCC putting pressure on NBC to fire Jimmy Kimmel over words that he said on TV. However, this was created by the left. This cancel culture was created by the left. You had the Twitter files dumps where you had pressure from the United States government under Joe Biden to suppress any negative information about the COVID vaccines, kick people off of the internet, fire doctors if they gave actual true information about the COVID vaccines. The Hunter Biden laptop story, kicking people off the internet for that. Again, government pressure on social media companies, that whole thing. And if NBC wanted to actually look good on this, they could have told the FCC to go screw themselves. We're keeping Jimmy Kimmel. Go ahead and pull whatever licenses you're going to do, call their bluff, make them do it, and then say, look what the federal government is doing to us because we refuse to fire somebody for free speech. So they could have took that approach, but they didn't. And I think it's because Jimmy Kimmel sucks. His show sucks. They're getting terrible ratings, and they just use this as an excuse to get rid of him. So that's it. That's my opinion on the matter. I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit about Jimmy Kimmel. So I don't want to talk about that anymore because to me, it is such a non-story with all the shit that's going on with Charlie Kirk. this is going to be a long episode, folks. This is my biggest block yet, and we're already an hour and 15 in. This might go 3.5, 4 hours. So strap in, you guys. If you're gonna get rid of it live, you might have to finish watching this tomorrow. I actually debated with myself on whether I was going to break this up into 2 episodes or not, because there's just a lot to cover. And this next block is, we're done talking about the leftist reaction to it. We're done. I'm never going to be done appreciating Charlie Kirk and celebrating what he did to the conservative movement. But now we need to talk about the more controversial issues surrounding his assassination, because there's a lot of things that just are not adding up whatsoever. And we're going to get into them. So I got a ton of stuff pulled up here. We're going to go through it one by one. And yeah, let's get into it. So a lot of discrepancies with the official story and a lot of weird things that happened that day. And yeah, I don't want to get too tinfoil on this. Again, I'm not going to come at this with the position of, I think the Jays did it, and I'm going to work backwards until I can prove that conclusion. I'm not doing that. I'm going to point out the things that aren't making sense, and we're going to talk about them. So first thing is this dude that got arrested that started screaming after Charlie Kirk got shot that he was the one that pulled the trigger. This was weird. This was really weird, almost as if it was some sort of diversion. So let's go over to Mel, Village Crazy Lady, over on X. If you guys don't follow her, you should. She's awesome. I'm trying to get her on the show. She will be on the show at some point. We're just having scheduling conflict issues. So let's just watch this video. So this is George Zinn. So George Zinn has a very checkered past and some very strange coincidences surrounding him. So this is George Zinn getting arrested. And again, he basically said, I shot Charlie Kirk. I did it. Arrest me, arrest me. Here he is getting hauled away in handcuffs with his pants around his ankles for some weird freaking reason. So let's watch this quick clip.
How dare you! 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 He's such a monster! What a monster! Such a monster! Monster! A monster! How dare you! Back it up! Back it up! How dare you! How dare you! You freaking monster! Yeah!
I don't know. He said he shot him, but I don't know, dude.
You always got some lady screaming in the background. And to me, it's okay. So why say you shot him, arrest me? And then the lady in the background, too, it seems very inorganic. You monster. Like, yes, if he's the one that shot him, he would be a monster. But she sounded like she was acting to me. I don't know. Could just be some crazy female reaction to this. But why do this? Why say I'm the shooter when you're clearly not? They released him within hours of arresting him. And like the only thing I could think of why you would do that, and Lonnie, you said he's a known agitator, but this goes past being an agitator here. This is like, are you trying to create a diversion type thing? And again, like, I'm saying that because that's the only thing that makes sense of why you would do that, is if you're trying to distract the cops from something. So keep going with the George Zinn stuff. So this is weird. So a lot of people are saying that he was at 9/11. He was in New York on 9/11. He wasn't, but he did appear in a 9/11 documentary. And he also, in 2013, sent in bomb threats to for the Boston Marathon, sent in bomb threats. So what's weird is this week he got brought up on child prawn charges, some CP charges, and apparently he had it in his phone. So that's also like, not to get too tinfoily, but when the deep state wants to take down somebody, they accuse them of that kind of thing because nobody questions it and nobody wants to defend that person, and that's what they arrest them for, and then they sort of just go away. So it's weird. Here's a clip of him in this 9/11 documentary. He was in Denver, and he's just telling the story of when he saw the towers coming down in the hotel lobby where he was in Denver. And again, a lot of people are saying that he was at 9/11 in New York. He wasn't. He wasn't there. He didn't see the towers come down, but a lot of people are saying that he was.
You know, it was an interesting time when I went to, I was in Denver just on September 10th, 2001, and I'm a huge Broncos fan, so I was. It was the opening night of Denver Broncos Stadium. I went down there, and we were playing the Giants that night, and so it was a huge event for us. I even remembered everything that happened. We opened the stadium on September 10th, 2001, and so you know I was. We won the Giants, which was good. I remember that was when Ed McCaffrey actually got hurt that night on a season-ending injury. And so I'm ready to leave the hotel on September 11th, early that morning, and go back to Salt Lake City. And they said, come down, look in the lobby. Something's happening here. They said there's a plane that's headed towards one of the towers in New York City. And we're just glued. Everybody in the lobby is just going, wow, this is pilot error. What's going on here? You know, it was very confusing. And we see that plane go in, and we just think, wow, you know. And then I think it was a 9/12 or something like that that second plane hit that tower. Immediately chaos in that hotel lobby. There was everybody was on cell phones. People had friends, family, everybody they knew in New York, and we just said, oh, you know, that's got to be something. That's terrorist attack or something like that. We weren't quite sure. We thought that because there'd been attacked like.
Okay, so just kind of weird. He appeared in this 9/11 documentary. So I asked Grok to give me a breakdown on George Zinn, and this is what it gave me here. So it says, George Zinn, full name George Hodgson Zinn, a 71-year-old resident of Salt Lake City, Utah, has been identified in online discussion and conspiracy theories as having Jewish heritage, which some interpret as a potential ethnic or cultural tie to Israel. However, no verified evidence from mainstream sources confirms direct personal, professional, financial, or political connections between Zinn and the state of Israel, its government, or organizations like Mossad. His background appears rooted in U.S.-based activism, including past involvement in protests and public disturbances, but nothing explicitly linked to Israeli entities. He claims an evidence Jewish identity. A Reddit thread in the R conspiracy subreddit explicitly describes Zinn as the Jewish man who created a distraction during the Charlie Kirk shooting incident on September 10, 2025 at Utah Valley University. This claim has fueled speculation but lacks substantiation from official records or biographical details in news reports like BBC, Newsweek, or The Guardian. Zinn's surname, Zinn, is of German Jewish origin, which may contribute to the association, but this is circumstantial and not indicative of active ties. Conspiracy allegations involving Israel. Zinn's actions immediately after the shooting, yelling, "I shot him, now shoot me," to police, have been portrayed in X posts as forums as a deliberate distraction orchestrated by Israeli interests to shield the real shooter, identified as Tyler Robinson, for instance. An X post by Digital Germania calls in decent evidence for suspecting Israel. That's not decent evidence. Citing his Jewish identity as motive ties to Kirk's pro-Israeli stance. Like, how do you get from A to B? Like, that's just such a big stretch. You guys know me. I'm not a huge fan of Israel, but like this immediate jump to Israel it's pretty far-fetched for me. We'll get into that later. Compiles evidence, including Zinn as a pro-Israeli agitator, alongside unrelated claims like early morning reporting by the Jerusalem Post and preemptive condolence letters from an Israeli figure. Free Population and Marconi Z link Zinn to 9/11, claiming he was a witness who knew it was Al Qaeda instantly in a 2013 bomb threat, implying Mossad involvement without proof. These narratives are prevalent in far-right and conspiracy circles, e.g. Alex Jones, InfoWars, Ecosystem, but are dismissed by authorities as baseless. Utah police affidavits confirm Zinn acted alone to draw attention from the real shooter for personal notoriety, not as part of a foreign plot. Absence of confirmed ties, news coverage, e.g. Al Jazeera, Times of India, focuses on Zinn's false confession, obstruction of justice charges, and separate arrest for child exploitation material with no mention of Israel. Zinn's X profile, excuse me, under George H. Zinn show minimal activity and no pro or anti-Israel content. Broader searches yield no record of Zinn traveling to Israel, donating to Israeli causes, or engaging in related advocacy. Unrelated results like the Zinn Education Project criticism for anti-Israel curricula refer to historian Howard Zinn's legacy, not George. In summary, while Zinn's alleged Jewish background has sparked unverified conspiracy claims tying him to Israel and the Kirk assassination fallout, these lack credible evidence and stem from biased online echo chambers. Official investigations treat him as a peripheral domestic figure, not an international operative. If new details emerge, they could alter this assessment, but as of September 20th, 2025, no substantive ties exist. Okay? So people are claiming he's an Israeli operative, and just because of his last name, essentially. But it is weird. It is weird that, like, why did he do that? Why was he in a 9/11 documentary? Why the calling in the bomb threat? Lonnie, I guess you said it was a Salt Lake City Marathon, not the Boston Marathon. Somebody else reported it was the Boston Marathon. So, okay, yeah, it might have been the Salt Lake City Marathon. So yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. I'm just pointing it out, and we should at least be aware of it and talk about it. So we'll keep going here. So I'm going to try to cut this video short, because I don't want to show Charlie actually getting shot. This is another weird thing that people were pointing out, and I wasn't even going to talk about it, but Kash Patel actually brought it up in his statement that he released today. So we will talk about it. So you guys see these. Let me go full screen on this so you can see it better. So do you guys see these two guys in the background here? The guy holding the camera, and then this guy. They're doing like these weird hand signals that you'd see like a third base coach give to the hitter or to the runner. If you guys played baseball, like tipping the cap, hitting your wrist, indicator, steal sign, indicator, bunt sign, that kind of thing. That looks like what they're doing here, and it's kind of weird. I didn't put much thought to it, because it's like, how would that help a shooter? I don't understand how that would help a shooter, like a sniper. But I'm at least going to play the video so you guys can see it, because Kash Patel actually talked about it today. Again, I wasn't even going to talk about it, but Kash Patel released it in his statement today. And I'm going to stop the video short because it actually shows Charlie getting shot, and I don't want to show that. You know how many cap here, over the last 10 years, right? Okay, so I paused it. This other guy in the black shirt, who is one of Charlie's security guards, who's in like every one of Charlie's videos, he starts doing similar gestures. Maybe they're motioning to other security members. So yeah, that's it. So the guy's doing the hand motions. Kash Patel said they're going to investigate it more, but I'm not putting too much stock into it. Here was a weird video that came out like the day of the shooting that shows somebody running around on the roof. Let's watch this really quick.
Can ride up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying. Huh. He just ran from over, where's my finger? Whoa. From over there, ran in. And now he's right there.
So this video is extremely relevant because Tyler, whatever his name is, the alleged shooter, does appear to be where he shot from, and that's the same building that he escaped from. This is the back of the building where he jumped down. So this is also a little bit weird. So this is from the security footage at the parking structure across the parking lot from the building where he jumped down. You see this red box here. This is where he jumped down, right here. You see this big red arrow. This is where he shot from. So we have the video of him jumping off the roof. Why haven't they released the video of him actually shooting from this position, which is in the same frame? So why aren't we getting that video? Why haven't they released it? Maybe we'll learn more about that in the future. This is a satellite image of the campus, and you see where this green line is, the orange line, and the red line. This is where he allegedly shot from. This green area shows where the bullet hit Charlie. So clear line of sight, even though this building right here, I think this is actually the top of the building. It's like it would barely miss this corner. So I got Google Earth pulled up here, so we'll actually zoom in on this. So this is Google Earth. Here is where Charlie was sitting, right here. We'll zoom in on it. Charlie was sitting right here where it says Hall of Flags, right? And then the shooter apparently shot from right here. You guys can see where my cursor is, this highest point on this building right here. And again, this building jets out. You see this corner of this building? So it's not in the line of sight, but if Charlie was another couple of feet this way, this building would be obstructing the shot. We'll zoom out a little bit so you can see the corner of this building. This is where he shot from. It's going to go past this corner of the building to here. And if you pull this down a little bit, so he shot from here, this is where he jumped down. You guys can see my cursor over here. So he ran across the building. I don't know if he went around this thing or like which side he went around it on, but you see the parking lot here. So the security footage is from a camera that's located on this parking structure right here. Over the parking lot, he jumped down this part of the roof right here next to this. This is like a statue of some kind. So I'll go back to this picture. Oh no, I'm sorry. He jumped down on the other side. So you guys can see this is the satellite footage. Here's that statue, right? Here's where he jumped down on this side of the building, and he shot from over here. So we'll go back to Google Earth. So this is where he jumped down right here. This is where he shot from, allegedly. And again, that security footage is taken from a CCTV camera on this parking structure right here. So, but again, the question is, why don't we have footage of the actual shot being fired? So that's the question there. All right. So this is just a quick video that shows like different people are saying that, you know, there could have been a second shooter or that guy wasn't actually the shooter, even though like there's video of him on the roof. There's video of him jumping down. There's video of a person jumping down. We don't have proof that that was actually Tyler, but there was somebody on that roof. They did run away, and we'll see it did look like he pulled a rifle down with his hand. I got another video that I'll play on that in just a minute here. So let's watch this quick clip. So this video is just showing that there's plenty of other places that a shooter could have shot from, many places that would have been a better place to shoot from. So this is this is like a view from the shooter's nest. So you can see that corner of the building coming out, and this is where Charlie was sitting, right here in the middle. So if he would have been a little bit farther this way, this corner would have been in his way. But you can see there's a clear line of sight. Good spot to shoot from, but I mean, you're on top of a roof in broad daylight, so you're silhouetted, and a lot of people are pointing out, like, why would you do that? Wearing all black, being in the sun. I mean, it's easy to see it's easy to see you. This is a better, a bit of a better picture of the shooter's nest where he was. So Charlie was under this tent here. He shot from here where you see these red tags, like police markings, where they investigated. And again, they didn't find any shells here. So there's no shells found here. I mean, there's only one round fired, so it would have only ejected. I mean, it wouldn't even have ejected a shell if he didn't pull the bolt back. It wouldn't even have ejected the shell. It just would have stayed in the chamber. So yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going here. So this is acoustic analysis. This is from Smartsky. He says acoustic analysis confirms the shooter was near ground level, 70 to 90 feet away, not a rooftop, is what he's saying. He's saying that it's unlikely that it came from the rooftop. But we've got video footage of him up there with what looks like a rifle. And why would he be on the roof by himself? Why would he be jumping down? So this is the crack bang analysis. The crack bang analysis is when you hear the crack of the bullet versus the bang of the gun. So subsonic rounds, you don't hear the bullet go past you, but if it's a bullet that goes faster than the speed of the sound, you're going to hear like a sonic boom. You're going to hear the crack of the bullet. So you'll hear the muzzle flash, and then you'll hear the bullet, and that's how they conducted this analysis. So he's saying, according to this analysis, it came from the ground. I don't know how you're going to determine that. Like, that seems kind of far-fetched to me, but I don't know. Let's keep going here. This is from Lord Bebo. He says, from this, you can see what looks like a muzzle flash from a different location. So let's watch this video. Oh, sorry. That's him running across the roof. There he goes. So he's escaping after the shot. Okay, so that wasn't the muzzle flash video. I have that pulled up somewhere here. Okay, so this is from Ryan Mata, who I've had on the show. I like him, good guy, but he's also already posted some stuff that hasn't been accurate. Like, he was one of the people saying that that George Zinn guy was actually at 9/11 when he wasn't. But I'll play this quick video here. So Ryan Mata says, Tyler Robinson was not the shooter. He was the patsy. Please do not stop watching this video until the end. The last 2 minutes are very important. This is a 7-minute video. I don't know if I want to play the whole thing. We'll play some of it.
Specifically to find the building and the location, because what we need to understand is how this video works. So here's this building. Here's Blake at the school, at the university, filming this because he wanted to make sure that he had this video right here of this guy jumping off the roof. Now it's going to get better, so I'm going to let you watch it, and I want to show you what we're going to look at. Okay, so Blake goes back to this university, right? And he's got the video pulled up, and he's literally searching every single nook and cranny to make sure specifically, because this is the video that the police shared with us of this man jumping off the roof. So here's Blake on the outside of the building. He's looking up. He's trying to make sure that he knows where that location of that security camera was on the other building, so he can show you guys exactly, hey, this is the security camera right here that actually filmed the man jumping off the building. So
for context, this is a guy that actually went back out to Utah Valley University to do some investigative work to just find out where that security camera was located physically on that parking structure that shows Tyler Robinson jumping down from the roof. So that's what this video is.
what is in the view of that camera? This is what's really important. Check this out. Okay, so do you remember when the cops showed us this video of this man running across the roof? Well, what he's doing in his here, he's zooming in. What didn't they show us? Let me play that video for you. Okay, so this is the video of the cops, and they're zooming in to show us that Tyler was running across that building. Remember, he ran across the roof, and then he's going to come around the edge of the building. There he comes around the edge of the building, and now he's going to walk over to the edge, and he's going to jump off the building. We've all seen him jump off. They zoom in. All right, let's pause it right there. We get where we're at. So now, you guys seen the video? Did you catch it yet? I want to know, pause this video right now, go down in the comments, drop a comment, and try to predict where you think we're going with this one, because I wasn't ready for this one. But do me a favor, predict, drop that comment below. It'll help boost the algo. While you're down there, follow Blake, and let me explain. Okay, so this shit blew my mind. So he's at this building, right? And he tells you to watch right here. Watch this freaking vent. And this is going to blow your gosh damn mind. Do you see it right there? Watch this thing. And I'm not no John Cullen. There's something that literally flies out of this gosh damn vent so fast at such a Mach speed that you have to slow this down. This is filming at 30 frames per second. So you're not talking about the speed of a bullet. You're talking about probably a couple hundred miles per hour. There it is right there. There it is. Like something is obviously, that's just not something on the screen. You're catching it in multiple frames moving across your screen. And I was just calling people out for trying to capture something on screen that was moving not at that speed. Now watch this. There it is again. So now you have something comes out of here. 1, 2, 3 frames, but so fast. Let's watch it in real motion. Before we do, let me explain frame rates.
So somebody launched a drone, like somebody launched one of those really fast drones. Okay. Like, what are you saying?
Filming at 30 frames per second. So every second, your video on your phone is literally taking 30 photos and it's compressing all 30 of those photos together side by side by side. So in 31 thousandths of a second, that thing is moving at that speed. Hundreds, probably 100, 200 miles per hour, give or take.
You're going to want to watch right here in the vent.
All right, I'm going to fast forward to the last 2 minutes of the video because I don't want to watch this whole thing.
3/1000. Okay, 3/1000. So in 3 seconds from that man being shot, you mean to tell me that that guy's already up out of his perch position and in a full-on sprint across that roof, and that the cops who have that surveillance footage of that perch position decided to start that video literally would have been within 3 seconds or 4 seconds of Charlie Kirk getting shot? You expect us to believe that Tyler's in that position? I don't think so, guys. I don't believe so.
So that's another like kind of good point. But, you know, if they're in the middle of an active investigation, there might be a reason why they haven't released that part of the footage where, again, that camera that's on the parking structure that captures Tyler Robinson jumping down off the roof, in that same frame is where the shooting perch was located. So why aren't we seeing the footage of him taking the shot and then jumping up out of his position and then running to the roof? And I've seen conflicting claims of whether he disassembled the firearm, disassembled the rifle in that location, and then ran and jumped off the roof. I don't think that's the case at all, but we'll get into that in a couple of minutes here. So that's the only question that this video raises for me. Okay, so somebody launched a drone. Everybody launches drones. Like, drones are all over the place now. It was a Charlie Kirk event. So somebody launching a drone at a Charlie Kirk event isn't like any sort of smoking gun to me. But the question is, why don't we have the rest of the video that shows him taking the shot and then jumping up out of the shooting position? So let's keep going here. All right, so this is the weird thing for me. The messages, the freaking messages, like, they're so weird. The messages of Tyler and his roommate / transitioning boyfriend. So these messages are weird, guys, and we'll go through them here. So this is the actual transcript. I have the transcript pulled up separately, but Benny Johnson has it typed out and it's easier for me to read. So I'm going to write it here. So yeah, this is from Benny Johnson. He says, breaking, Utah County DA reads the full text messages exchanged between Charlie Kirk's assassin and his transgender boyfriend / roommate after committing the murder. So there's a video of the guy reading it, but I'm just going to read the transcript for you guys. So Robinson, that's the shooter, says, drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard. The roommate, you are joking, right? Robinson, I am still okay, my love. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Okay. I am still okay, my love. That's just like, that's weird. Who talks like that? Shouldn't be long until I come home, but I got to grab my rifle first. Okay. Roommate, you weren't the one that did it, right? Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that Most of that side of town is locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Like, there's one vehicle lingering. Like, this just doesn't sound like how a 22-year-old would talk. Okay, so roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. And again, like, going to attempt to retrieve my rifle. Like, I need to go get my rifle. Like, if I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence except for this transcript of this confession that I'm giving you right now. I will have left no evidence, like, except for here's exactly how I did it and all of my steps in between. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, how long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. This seems so inorganic to me. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. Okay, that. So, like, do any of you guys say squad? Like, Lonnie, like, who says squad car? It's a cop car, a police car, a squad car. Who says squad car? Cops. Cops say squad car. Like, it's just weird. I think that a bit of a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot. Like, he's talking like a cop, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle, not to my car, to my vehicle. Again, he's talking like a cop. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK. What does that mean? What does that acronym mean, you guys? IDEK. I don't speak hipster. IDEK if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I have to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. And Candace pointed this out, Candace Owens, who a lot of people are really mad at right now. Where I changed outfits. I'm a dude. I've never referred to my clothing as my outfit. I mean, maybe my fit if you're trying to be like hip, but change outfits, and instead of saying changed clothes, my vehicle instead of my car, the squad car instead of cop car. It's just weird. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The F in messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulges ooh woo on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really effing sucks. And he spells really F, the letter F in IN sucks. Judging from today, like, even that F in, like, why spell it like that? Like, it's just weird. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has it. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Again, you are all I worry about, love. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police asks you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Okay, so first he says delete this exchange, like, because he doesn't want any incriminating evidence. And then he says I'm going to turn myself in the same freaking paragraph. Like, the whole thing is just weird. The whole freaking exchange is just weird. So this guy, Evan Kilgore, who is also getting very tinfoily about this whole thing. But I mean, that is weird. That whole exchange is freaking weird. It doesn't sound natural. Like, yeah. So this guy, Evan Kilgore, says, holy shit, I put the alleged text exchange between Tyler Robinson and his transgender lover into ChatGPT and asked if it seemed real and genuine. ChatGPT says the texter most likely fabricated, far too detailed, and too incriminating to be real. Thoughts? So somebody responded, Murray, I try not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I have a really hard time believing in the short text exchange. The 11 shooter makes his confession, confirms the location of the weapon, confirms the type of the weapon, confirms it was wrapped in a towel, confirms his motive, exonerates the decoy, George Zinn, admits to the bullet engravings, confirms the wardrobe change, confirms how long he's been planning it, discloses the existence and location of a now destroyed pre-written confession note. That's the other thing, like, look under my keyboard. He apparently had a pre-written confession note, randomly tells his boyfriend that his dad is diehard MAGA, as if he wouldn't already know given the nature of their relationship, and is worried about his dad / grandpa being upset if he doesn't come home with the rifle, not the fact that he just used it to commit a murder. Not to mention a 22-year-old terminally online Zoomer using phrases like squad car, drop point, swept the area, my vehicle, till I died of old age, my old man. Yeah, that was another thing, my old man. Like, who says that? What 22-year-old kid refers to their dad as my old man? I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. Okay, let's keep going. It's like, you guys, Lonnie, do we trust ChatGPT? I mean, ChatGPT is good at entering, like, a lot of teachers are using it to put an essay into ChatGPT to see if it was fabricated or whatever. I mean, bro, I work with a bunch of kids his age and they all talk very cringy like this. Okay, I don't know. Like, I work with there's young kids that I work with too, and I don't hear any of them talking like that. It's just weird. All right, well, here's Kash Patel, and this is weird. This is also weird because he says there used to be the existence of a handwritten note, and they know this is its existence, but it no longer exists. So this is weird. This is Kash Patel talking on Fox News.
Written note, did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say, if you could
So
share
what I'm
that
able
with
to say, I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe, what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location, in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned.
What? Evidence of it existed, but now it doesn't exist? Like, what?
That the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
Was it written note? Did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say, if you could
So
share
what I'm
that
able
with
to
us?
say, I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe, what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location, in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
What? Okay, so basically you interrogated the boyfriend and he told you there was an existence of the note, but the note's been destroyed? Is that what you're saying? That seems to be what you're saying there. That the note existed because the boyfriend told you it existed. So that's how you confirmed it existed, and then the boyfriend told you what was on the note. Oh. Okay. So, I mean, at the very least, the evidence that exists for Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk, like in a court of law, seems very flimsy right now from what they've put out to us. I'm sure they have other evidence, but I mean, how are you going to convict the guy on this? This is very, like, this doesn't seem like, gee, they didn't find the bullet, right? So how can you compare that to the casing that was still in the gun? How can you prove that that gun was actually the weapon that fired the kill shot? Like, I mean, everything seems very circumstantial to me at the moment. So, all right, let's go over to this. So, okay, so this is very weird. So all of that communication between Tyler Robinson and his boyfriend supposedly took place on a Discord server. So Discord seems to deny the existence of that text exchange. So very weird. The governor claims the FBI took images of the communications between Tyler Robinson and his roommate about the gun, its location, watching it, and changing clothes. But Discord says these messages didn't take place via Discord. So why did the FBI say they did? So this is a statement from Discord. We are deeply saddened by the tragedy and extend our condolences to the Kirk family and everyone affected. In the course of our investigation, we identified a Discord account associated with the suspect, but have found no evidence that the suspect planned this incident or promoted violence on Discord. The messages referenced in recent reporting about planning details do not appear to be Discord messages. These were communications between the suspect's roommate and a friend after the shooting, where the roommate was recounting the contents of the note the suspect had left elsewhere. We have removed the suspect's account for violating our off-platform behavior policy. We strongly condemn violence of any kind, including political violence, and we will continue to coordinate closely with law enforcement. Okay, well, some people might say Discord may have scrubbed it from their platform because they didn't want to be incriminated in this. They didn't want this associated with their Discord server. The thing is, if they would have done that and the FBI already has evidence that it did take place on Discord, that would be interfering with a federal investigation, with an assassination. That's what they would be that's what they'd be interfering with. That they'd be breaking the law by doing that. So why did Discord say it's not on their server? Are the messages on the Discord server? So somebody is lying here, or the FBI misspoke and it took place on some sort of other platform. But Discord is a very specific platform. So they're saying this text exchange happened on Discord. The representatives from Discord are saying, no, this conversation didn't take place on Discord. So where did the conversation take place? So the conversation's already super weird. ChatGPT says the conversation isn't real, and Discord said the conversation didn't take place on Discord servers. So, I mean, that's the trifecta there. That's weird. That's somebody's lying, it seems. I mean, right? I don't see any other explanation for that. That's weird. Okay, let's keep going here. So this is Morgan. This random account I came across. I spent all week saving all these different things, and then I spent 14 hours yesterday putting all of these together for information that I thought was important. So again, there's just some random Twitter account, but it's got 12,000 followers, and she's a independent analyst, media forensics, Substack contributor. This is Morgan C00. So she says, so there's no verifiable record of Lance Twiggs. Lance Twiggs is the boyfriend, the transitioning boyfriend. So there's no verifiable record of Lance Twiggs, no addresses, license, or history. His name only appears in press coverage of the Kirk shooting. The figure that does exist is Jerry Tyler Twiggs, a St. George pediatrician tied to Intermountain Healthcare through Dixie Pediatrics. Intermountain runs pediatrics, psychiatry, and crisis programs, making it a prime recipient of new behavioral health funding. Public records showed Jerry with multiple aliases and residences across several states, plus relatives tied to medical supply and behavioral health ventures. This positions the family in both clinical services and supply chains, exactly where funding flows after a high-profile mental health crisis. When Jerry surfaced in the media as the grandfather of Lance, it placed a verifiable figure with deep medical ties at the center of the story. His presence connected the event to an established network in pediatrics and behavioral health, positioning to gain from new funding. So they're saying that this grandfather was tied to Lance Twiggs, but there's no record of Lance Twiggs ever existing. So that's weird. But I haven't verified any of this stuff, any of that, what she just said. I haven't verified any of that. So take that with a grain of salt. If that's a rabbit hole you guys want to go down, let me know what you find. But that seems weird. No verifiable record of Lance Twiggs, no addresses, no license history. We have a social media account, so I'd like to know about that. Danger, Discord confirmed he was sending messages and they are cooperating with the FBI. Well, I mean, I just read their statement. So they're saying that exchange that they read didn't take place on Discord. So Lance Twiggs is a fake name. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going here. Okay, so this is Candace Owens, and people are very mad at Candace Owens right now because she's been really going off about Charlie and Israel. I don't think she's made the claim that she thinks Israel did it, but she's definitely alluding to that heavily. So let's listen to this clip from Candace because this also is weird. So Candace Owens reveals never released images of Tyler Robinson at a nearby Dairy Queen hours after the Charlie Kirk assassination. Seen at 6:38 p.m. What is wrong with the picture? With this timeline, he can be tracked by nearby cameras. Something is very wrong. So let's listen to this quick clip from the Candace Owens show.
And this is what happened. Something made its way around the entire town and into my tips line repeatedly. It is a very clear image of Tyler Robinson, allegedly taken, I'll say allegedly for safety here, but it's looking right according to my timeline, allegedly taken at 6:38 p.m. at a nearby Dairy Queen. Here is that photo that we can show you. Just take a look at this photo. What is wrong with this picture? A lot is wrong with this picture. First and foremost, 6:38 p.m., you just shot someone. You have gone through great pains to hide your face, to change your outfit. But wait, you didn't fully change your outfit, did you? I'm looking at this photo and you're wearing jeans and you're wearing the maroon shirt. Now we have a 50-50 combo of the outfits. And now you're showing your eyes and you're not fearful at all that you might be recognized. Also, wow, you must have quite the stomach. You don't have a record. Next thing you know, you shoot someone and you're like, I'm just going to go have a meal. You don't seem to be too shaken or too upset. Something problematic is the location, by the way. We mapped this out. It's about 15 minutes away from the campus at a time when we're told that he's idling by, babysitting the rifle. So you can see, we're showing you, it's about a 17-minute drive away from the campus. So there should be a lot of footage then of this Dodge Challenger driving back and forth. Okay. And like I said, the biggest thing that jumps at me is he looks kind of content there. So he's got to be a full-blown psychopath wearing half of what the feds told us he was wearing in the morning and half of what the feds told us that he was wearing during the shooting. Okay, so why did he text in this exchange at all and say that he changed outfits? Wouldn't you have just said, I changed my t-shirt? If that's the reality, you just changed your t-shirt and that was enough? Was it just a t-shirt that he changed? The outfit, again, as I sensed yesterday, has always been problematic. I feel the outfit was the Fed mistake. It never made any sense to say that he wore an outfit onto campus, light khaki shorts and a maroon shirt, and then decided to completely change hours later. Because why wouldn't you just change the t-shirt? That actually makes more sense. Every kid wears blue jeans. You don't have to change blue jeans or change out of khaki shorts to avoid detection. That's not going to go, hey, we're stopping you because you're wearing blue jeans. That's not a thing. It would make much more sense if he had just changed his t-shirts.
All right. So, I mean, that's completely circumstantial, but it's weird. Like, showed up at Dairy Queen very quickly after the Charlie Kirk shooting. All right, let's keep going here. So, another thing that was kind of weird to to me is there's pictures of Tyler Robinson wearing like a COVID mask, wearing like a black fabric mask. And it's been pretty normalized to be able to walk around wearing those masks now. And in the camera footage that we see of Tyler Robinson going, there's one that got him going like it's a tunnel that goes under a road. And there's security CCTV footage there where he's like trying to obscure his face. Why didn't he wear a mask? Like he's clearly trying to avoid being seen by the camera, but why didn't he wear a mask? Why didn't he wear a face covering at all? That's been pretty normalized and it'd be easy enough to do. So why didn't he do that? That's one thing that sort of jumped out at me. Why didn't he wear a mask? Like there's already pictures of him wearing a mask. It's not suspicious to be wearing a mask these days, even though you look like an asshole. But why didn't he wear a mask? All right, so this is a clip from Megyn Kelly. Apparently, the FBI is looking into 7 accounts linked to Lance Twiggs. All of these posts from these accounts have cryptic messages, and Kelly asks after reading them, how did they know this was about to happen to Charlie Kirk? He didn't do this alone. So apparently, there's evidence that other people knew this was coming. So let's watch this Megyn Kelly clip.
The FBI, familiar with the investigation, reporting that the Bureau is looking into posts by at least 7 different accounts. Several of the accounts appear to belong to transgender individuals, and at least one of them followed the suspect in this case, Tyler Robinson's roommate. Okay, so followed the roommate, the boyfriend, with whom Robinson was reportedly in a romantic relationship. Minutes after Charlie Kirk was pronounced dead, the user posted on X, "We fucking did it." This person has since deleted the account. Another user, 5 days before the shooting, wrote, quote, "You guys, I have something big coming soon. Just be sure to check the news. You'll know it when you see it," along with an emoji giving a wink. I have something.
Just while it's fresh in my brain so I don't forget. So another explanation for that letter being written, the exchange, the text exchange, would be to provide an alibi for his trans boyfriend and anybody else that might have been involved. So he's taking all of the heat off of everybody else. So that could be another plausible explanation for why he did it. And maybe he didn't write it up himself. Maybe he used ChatGPT to formulate the text exchange and incriminate himself only. So he's taking the heat off of anybody else that may have been involved. Because, I mean, you probably would need help. People can't keep their fucking mouths shut, especially a 22-year-old kid. So I would think that other people would be involved with this. And I should say, I don't want there to be a conspiracy. I want this to be like, this is the guy that did it. Here's all the evidence. Here's who else was involved. And I want everybody to go down for it. I don't want it to be some fucking government conspiracy. I don't want to, go down the rabbit hole of the Jays did it or anything like that. I want the killer to be caught, identified, and executed personally, if that's the case. And yeah, so that could be a plausible explanation that he wrote that exchange to take the heat off of anybody else that may have been involved, and that's why he did it. And maybe he had ChatGPT write it, and that's why it looks so inorganic.
Big coming soon. Just be sure to check the news. You'll know it when you see it. 5 days before the assassination. Then on Wednesday, after the shooting, this same account writes, quote, "Well, that's that." And another chud bites the dust. Chud, apparently a slang derogatory term for right-wingers. This user has also deleted the account. The Free Beacon also reporting a TikTok account by an individual who appears to be transgender, writing, quote, "Charles James Kirk does not know what's coming tomorrow. This isn't a threat. It's a promise." So how did all these people know this? Did they just get lucky? They just stumbled upon, they just had a feeling something was going to happen to Charlie and they all wrote it and they have links to the trans community? Wow, that's quite a coincidence. And there's new information regarding Tyler Robinson, the suspect, as well. As I mentioned above, he was in a romantic relationship with his roommate, who's a biological man pretending that he can become a female and in the process of that, quote, transition. This news was confirmed to Axios by 6 sources. And not just that, but as we reported in our own AM update this morning, Tyler Robinson himself appears to have a link to so-called furry culture and a website to this culture, which is linked to the trans community and which involves people dressing up like animals and getting some sort of sexual fetish out of it. By the way, that same so-called boyfriend who was trying to trans himself into female was constantly all over the internet in furry costumes. That's where the things stand this morning.
There's a lot of boomers out there that learned what furries are this week, and they're probably pretty upset about it. Okay, now to the whole gun fiasco. So there's been reporting about he took the gun apart, he didn't take the gun apart. Did he have it when he jumped off the roof? Was it in his pant leg? Was it in the backpack? There's all sorts of back and forth, and there doesn't seem to be any clear answers on this. This is an account called Louisville Gun, and great follow over on Twitter. This is from Gun Twitter. There's a lot of big gun accounts, and he's just a firearms guy, DZ enthusiast, British opinions on gun control, stopped being relevant in 1776. Trigger warning, I have opinions on other things than guns. Okay, so good account to follow. Oh, I don't follow him. I thought I followed him. Okay, now I do. Okay, so he has okay, Lonnie, you said earlier that there's like AI footage of him jumping off the roof. So we do have to take stuff with a grain of salt here, but he took this footage and broke it down. So he said, messing around and doing some short loops with increased contrast, shooter on the edge of the roof, swinging the rifle down. You can easily see him holding something long in his right hand. Now, the thing we have to be, that I hope he was careful about, is using direct source material, meaning he wasn't taking a video that's already been altered, that has been compressed, where the frame rate is like what Ryan Motto was talking about earlier. It is 30 frames per second. Hopefully this wasn't a video that was already altered. So play this one really quick. So this is him jumping off the roof. All right. So right there, did you guys see that? It looks like with his right hand. So you guys see his legs here, right? Let me make my screen, make this bigger so you guys can see it better. So you see his legs. He's like standing on this little vent, and he's got his arms up on the roof. So here's his legs, here's his left arm, and then here's his right arm. And you can see that he appears to grab something with his right arm and swing it down. See that? So it looks like he pulled what could be a rifle down with his right arm. See that? I mean, it's really grainy, shitty footage, but that appears to be what he did there. So he's got the object and he swings it down, and you can see the fabric flopping around at the end. Could this be a towel that's not completely covering the stock, but it's hanging over the end of the barrel? And is he grabbing a rifle covered in a towel and bringing it down, and then just throwing it onto the ground? And that could also be why the scope was way too far back. Like the pictures of the rifle that they show, the scope's way too far back towards the stock, because anybody shoots knows your scope's too far back. Looking through it, when you fire, it's going to hit you in the freaking eye. So you don't want that. But the buttstock could have banged on the ground, and the scope came loose in the rings and slid backwards. That could be why that happened. So let's continue. So he says, dropping from the roof, paused frames where you can see he's holding something that is long and straight, added lines to highlight it. So let's go to this one here. So you guys see that? Start from the beginning, pulls it down, adds the lines. Looks like he tosses it down here. Oh no, he holds it while he jumps down. So holds it, lands, still holding it. So it looks like he held whatever he grabbed all the way down when he jumped. So watch it one more time. That's a pretty high jump too. It's got to be like 12 feet, 14 feet. Okay. All right. So there's that. So It appears that he could have taken the freaking rifle off the roof, didn't disassemble it. But why were we being told that the rifle could have been easily disassembled? Now, I will say, if you guys can see behind me here, let me go full screen here. Oh, I'll have to stop sharing to show you guys this. Okay, you guys see that firearm back there, that shotgun? That's an old Browning shotgun from 1953, I think. And I can take that down and break it into two pieces in about 30 seconds. You can unscrew the barrel, and it sort of has notches that the barrel slides into, and you can break it into two pieces. The thing is, the stock and the barrel would still be sticking up out of the top of a backpack. That's like a 24-inch barrel, 26-inch barrel. I can't remember how long it is. I've never fired the thing. The stock's broke on it, so it's just a wall hanger. But anyway, so this video is video of somebody breaking down a 30-06, apparently the same rifle. Actually, I don't think it is the same. This is what's confusing too, because we're told it was a Mauser with a wood stock. And I swear I saw pictures of a like an old Mauser with a wood stock. The stock's even kind of like weird shaped, I noticed. And then I see other pictures of a black rifle that looks like a Ruger or a Remington. And so I'm confused about the firearm too. So I want to know which freaking firearm it actually is. Was it a Mauser with a wood stock, or was it a black Mauser? So I don't know. We'll get into that in a second. This is a guy showing how long it would take to break down a 30-06 rifle.
On this episode of You Might Be a Dumb Motherfucker, this is my rifle. It takes two different tools to take it apart. It takes a torque.
Okay, so you see this picture? I swear I saw a different picture that shows a Mauser with a wood grain stock, but this apparently is the photo that the FBI released. And you see the scope's way too far back, and you can see the rings on the scope here. I mean, it's kind of small. It's hard for you guys to see. The forward lens is like, it flares out, right? And the rings are, it looks like the scope actually slid in the rings and it stopped once it got to this tapered point of the forward lens. So, and you can see the rear ring is like way up on the scope. So it looks like it actually slid back. That's what it looks like to me. Anyway, is this the actual gun? Is this the actual rifle? And if it is, this doesn't look like a rifle that breaks down into two pieces. There is a Mauser 30-06 rifle that will break down like the shotgun I just showed you guys, where you can just unscrew it and breaks into two pieces. The thing is, if it's a 24-inch barrel, it's still going to stick out of the top of a backpack. So I don't know. Again, confusing.
Key and an Allen key. Now, if I take a shot and immediately disassemble this, I have to remove the bolt, remove the magazine, grab my Allen key, hit the two bolts on the bottom, put those away in the Allen key, grab.
The rifle he had wouldn't have a detachable magazine, though. It's a 3-round built-in magazine.
My Torx key, remove the scope, put everything in the backpack, make sure I have everything, and make my way downtown. Okay, which is going to take a lot longer for him than it is for me, especially because his fine-tuned motor function, something as simple as grabbing an Allen key to a little bolt, is going to be extremely impaired due to a dump of adrenaline throughout his bloodstream. An extreme elevated heart rate is going to make these fine-tuned skills extremely difficult. I mean, just for him to think and analyze of what needs to be done to disassemble this rifle and get away would be difficult. We're not even going to.
All right, you guys get the point. It would be like, he wouldn't have had time to break down the rifle. So, like, did he break it down or did he not break it down? If he did break it down before he jumped off the roof, why would he put it back together to stash it in the woods? Doesn't make any sense. And again, going back to the security footage, the CCTV footage from the parking structure that shows the sniper nest that he was in, why haven't they released footage to clarify whether he sat there and like futzed around with his rifle for a couple of minutes before he ran away? Like, there should be clear video of whether he broke the rifle down or not. So that seems to be like a point of contention, whether he broke the rifle down or not. So yeah, I'm curious about that. I'm interested about that. So, okay. So this is a post from Sunlight Sunlight is the best disinfectant. I don't know if this is a gun guy or whatever, but So he says this is Tyler Robinson's Mossberg Patriot 30-06. We were told it was a Mauser the whole time, which is a really old rifle. And he even says in the text exchange that like he's not sure if the rifle has a serial number. It was his grandpa's. This is a newer rifle. So was it a Mauser or was it a Mossberg Patriot? Like what freaking firearm was it? He says it appears to be painted rifle barrel and stock halfway to blend with the roof. I don't think that's painted. If accurate, shows high level of detailed planning. See takedown process. Okay, so it's got like that thing's not easy to take down super quickly, as we just saw in the video before. Oh man, it looks like I have so many tabs pulled up. Okay, so this is okay. So I don't get it. So this guy's claiming it was a Mossberg Patriot, and then this guy replied to him. It says, "Dude, get a life. Here's an example of the kind of Mauser 98 gunman used. Quick assembly, disassembly, fits in a backpack." And you guys see this like center, this line right here. That's where the whole thing comes apart. You can, I'm not sure how this one is. Mine it like unscrews. It's like right on the tube. You actually unscrew the tube and the whole thing breaks into two pieces. So he's saying this rifle will break down that same way, but still it'd leave the barrel long. So like my question is, was it the freaking Mauser or was it a Mossberg? Like I don't know. Like why are we seeing conflicting pictures? I'm just super confused. So this is that same gun broken down. So you guys can see it would be, the longest part would be just over 22 inches. So you can put it in a backpack, but the barrel's going to be sticking out at the top a little bit. But it doesn't look like it was, oh, this is a lever gun. What the fuck? Okay. I've never seen a lever gun. That's a cool gun. So, okay. He's just giving examples of guns that could be taken down really quickly, like my shotgun here. So, all right, kind of weird. All right, so that's what I'm confused with the gun. And I'm not saying there's any like sort of weirdness, like people trying to cover their tracks or like cover up or anything like that. I'm just saying like I don't understand which gun did he use. Like I want to know specifically which gun did he use. Okay, the bullet. Let's talk about the bullet now. I warned you guys this is going to be a long one. So if you guys are still with me from the beginning, I appreciate you. So the bullets. This popped up last night, and this is like, this actually gets my tinfoil brain going because this whole thing's suspicious. So a 30-06 round carries so much kinetic energy that it defeats level 3A body armor, level 3 body armor, level 3 plus body armor. Person must carry a level 4. So in order to stop a 30-06 round, green tip at least, I don't know about like a full metal jacket 30-06, you need to actually have a plate carrier on. So to put it in perspective for you guys, what a 30-06 round is, can you guys see on my desk here? I'll stop sharing really quick. So I actually put these out ahead of the show because I wanted to talk about these rounds. So this is a 9mm, right? This is Smith & Wesson 40 caliber. This is 5.56. This is what shoots out of an AR-15. This is a little, this is a 22 with a lot more powder than 22 long rifle, right? Small round. This is 4570 government, which is, I mean, you could put down pretty much any animal on earth with this gun. Maybe not an elephant. I don't know. But this is 30-06. This is, I mean, it looks bigger, but there's actually less powder than the 4570 government. But let's compare 5.56 to 30-06. You guys can see a lot more powder. The bullet itself is a lot bigger as well. So that knowledge will come in handy in a minute here. So let's put those aside. That it's a big round. It is .30-06 round is a big round. It's a big cartridge and it's a big round. So we'll keep going here. All right. So this is a video of a guy that shoots a .30-06 round into ballistics gel. So apparently it penetrates 20 to 30 inches. I should say, like, I have a .30-06 rifle, but I've never shot an animal with it. I'm a novice. I'm not a gun expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a ammunition expert. I just like guns. So this is a guy shooting a .30-06 round into ballistics gel. Let's watch this really quick, and you'll see in a second why I'm playing this video for you. Yeah, my computer is working overtime right now. It is getting hot. I got so many freaking clips pulled up here. If you guys are still watching, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, so let's watch this video of a .30-06 round entering ballistics gel.
Okay, the gun is clear. Let's go check out our results on that 150 grain bullet.
So it goes way in there, like 20 inches, and ballistics gel is supposed to represent flesh, like flesh of an animal. We're animals. So 20 inches, it penetrates 20 inches of flesh, essentially. All right? .30-06, heavy round. Like, okay. All right, again, this is from Mel, Village Crazy Lady, and she says, so they didn't recover the bullet that actually shot Charlie, and the only evidence linking the gun they recovered to the shooting was the fact that the bullets and casing still left in the rifle had furry memes engravings on them. Do I have that right? If so, that's weird. Okay, so I don't know what this is from. So the area to the north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle is determined to be a Mauser Model 98 .30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. So if any of you guys are watching, want to look up a Mauser Model 98 to see if it could break down really fast, because I don't think it can. I don't think it breaks in two like my shotgun here. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved into the casings found with the rifle. Inspections on a free-fired casing read, notices bulges, OWO. What's this? Inscriptions on the 3 unidentified casings read, hey fascist, catch, up arrow symbol, right arrow symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow. And that's from some song that anti-fascists like to use to celebrate their anti-fascist escapades, apparently. The third unfired casing read, if you read this, you are gay. LMAO. Okay, so they didn't find the bullet. That's weird. That's weird they didn't find the bullet, because this came out last night. And this is like the most suspicious thing of all the stuff to me. So knowing what a .30-06 round can do, how it's big, lots of powder, lots of kinetic energy. This is from Fox News. Man of Steel. Charlie Kirk's body stopped a bullet that would typically just go through everything, and it was an absolute miracle. Nobody else was killed, his surgeon told Turning Point US. The .30-06 round. Okay, then there's a lot of other people saying that he was wearing body armor, and he wasn't, according to the sheriffs. But I'll read. So this is from Andrew Colvett. All right, he is the spokesperson for Turning Point USA, and he put this out last afternoon at 4:57 p.m. He says, I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delivering. Oh, let me share this. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize, this is somewhat graphic. But in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie at the hospital. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always go through everything. This would have taken down a moose or a moose or two down, an elk, etc. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned this to the doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent, and he replied, "It was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy, and the density was so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin." Okay, so they got the bullet. Can they compare that bullet to the casing that was found still in the rifle? Like that would be the biggest piece of evidence if they have that bullet and they can link it to the casing that was still found on the rifle, and then they can link that rifle to Tyler Robinson. Even in death, Charlie managed to save lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous. I don't see like this round right here would go through a 1/2-inch metal plate. Bone isn't going to stop it. It wasn't deflected. Like really? You're telling me that Charlie's neck was so healthy that it stopped the 30-06 round? So, I mean, here's some people's reaction to it. Here's Milo Yiannopoulos says, "I hate being lied to." Because, yeah, it just seems suspicious. You're just saying, yes, he was so healthy that his body stopped the 30-06 round, which is insane to me. It's freaking insane. Like, I don't get it. I bought my 30-06 rifle for deer and elk hunting, even though I've never gone deer or elk hunting. It's really hard to get elk tags here in California. It's a lottery. I just haven't gone deer hunting because I haven't. That's all. But that's why I got my 30-06 rifle, is to put down somewhat large game, because a 30-06 will put down an elk and it will go through the freaking elk. Like, shot in the neck. There's not much to your neck. His neck stopped the 30-06 round. Like, this isn't adding up to me at all. Okay, if you say so. So we'll keep going here. This is from Max Blumenthal. He says, "Do you believe in miracles?" So same thing, reposting the Fox Man of Steel thing. Do you believe in miracles? Somebody else pointed out, like, that picture of Tyler Robinson at Dairy Queen. He was standing in front of a Superman poster for the Superman movie. Now they're calling him the Man of Steel. Kind of weird, but I'm not going to get tinfoil about that. Keep going here. This is from, sorry, now all my clips are taking a long time to load because my computer's getting hot. Okay, so this is from the OC Patriot. I like this dude. We chat back and forth a lot. He said, "Charlie had a vest on. The bullet hit the vest and deflected into the neck. At this point, the bullet lost 90% of its power and was probably incredibly off axis when it hit his neck." Like, that would kind of make sense, except you would need to be wearing level 4 plates to stop that and deflect it. And even the level 4 plates are supposed to absorb it, not deflect it upwards. So, okay, I guess that would be the most plausible explanation. The thing is, Utah sheriff confirms Charlie Kirk was not wearing a bulletproof vest during the UVU shooting. No ricochet off armor. Official statement debunks online theories. So they're saying he wasn't wearing a vest, and the 30-06 round went straight into his neck. How is that possible that it didn't go through? This is the most strange thing to me. I'm not following. I don't get it. Okay. So that's all the stuff about the bullet. Like, I don't get it. I don't get how this round wouldn't go all the way through a neck. And again, this is a 5.56 round. You know, the one that they call a weapon of war and a high-powered rifle. Look at it in comparison to a 30-06 round. It's tiny. It's going to have half the kinetic energy, I think. Fact check me on that. But it's got a lot less powder, and the bullet itself is a lot smaller. This thing's huge. It's meant to take down elk. Like, I don't get it. Okay. This is a statement from Kash Patel. Oh, I lost screen share audio. You guys let me know if I'm still there. 30-06 will be stopped by a bone. It happens all the time. I don't know, Lonnie. Like, I don't know. I'm reading a lot of freaking gun people back and forth too, and most the gun people are not jiving with this 30-06 thing. So I don't know. Produce the round too. Like, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. You'll bet me $100. Like, well, okay, how are you gonna you're gonna bet me $100 that Charlie Kirk's neck stopped the, like, come on, dude. Yeah, I'm just, and the way they're portraying it too, like, he was so strong, he was so fit that it stopped the 30-06 round. I'm not buying it. Send me what you got, Lonnie. Like, I'm not buying it. But I guess there's just a lot of stuff that's not adding up to me. So I'll bet that the neck bone, you'll bet that the neck bone can stop a 30-06 round. All right. Well, there's probably a whole bunch of people on here already, like, doing these experiments. There will be gun tubers doing these experiments left and right in the following days. Like, you know, they'll get like a pig spine and they'll put it through ballistics gel and they'll try to, you know, like, that would be a pretty miraculous stop. It would be very, I don't see it. So, okay, well, we'll keep going here. We're gonna agree to disagree. Shoulder and collarbone will stop it, no problem, but it didn't hit him in the shoulder or the collarbone. So, all right, we'll keep going here. We'll table that conversation for later. FBI Director Kash Patel. So he released a statement today. He says, as the director of the FBI, I'm committed to ensuring the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination is thorough and exhaustive, pursuing every lead to its conclusion. The full weight of America's law enforcement agencies are actively following evidence that has emerged, but our efforts extend beyond initial findings. We are examining every facet of the assassination. We are meticulously investigating theories and questions, including the locations from where the shot was taken, possibilities of accomplices, the text message confession and related conversation, Discord chats, the angle of the shot and the bullet impact, how the weapon was transported, hand gestures observed as potential signals near Charlie at the time of his assassination, and visitors to the alleged shooter's residence in hours and days leading up to September 10th, 2025. Some details are known today, while others are still being pursued to every possibility is considered. Our primary focus is to complete the investigation and deliver justice. To protect the integrity of the investigation and subsequent prosecution, we cannot release every piece of information we have to the public right now. We will ensure every question is addressed at the appropriate moment. Regarding specific details, such as questions about the plane that allegedly turned off its transponder after departing from the airport near the assassination site, we can share updates when answers are confirmed. After interviews with the pilot and the consultation of the FAA, we determined the transponder was not turned off. Incomplete flight data and rural areas caused the apparent gap. The FBI mourns the loss of Charlie Kirk. We will not rest until justice is served, and our investigation into this assassination will continue until every question is answered. Okay, so that's good to hear that they're investigating all this other stuff too. Yeah, but everything that I just covered that's weird, there are plausible explanations for all of it. The bullet thing is the weirdest to me. The text exchange is also weird, but there could be the explanation that it was created using ChatGPT or some sort of AI, and it was meant to create an alibi for anybody else that might have helped it. So those are the two weirdest things to me, are the bullet and the messages. And Discord said it didn't take place on their server, so that's also weird. But the explanation could be for that he was trying to create an alibi for his accomplices. The bullet thing, however, like mathematically, I'm not seeing it. But I heard initially that they hadn't found the bullet, but the TPUSA guy says the surgeon pulled it out of Charlie. So they have the bullet, should be able to match it to the casing. If they say that, yeah, his neck stopped the bullet, then okay, I guess so. It's like a 1 in a million thing, but I mean, I guess. Like, okay. I mean, I'm not a ballistics expert, but a lot of ballistics experts on here, like, there's no fucking way. A lot of them. The guy from Phoenix Ammunition says, like, bullets do all sorts of weird things when they hit stuff. Like, they go all sorts of weird directions and stuff. So could have ricocheted around in there. I don't know. But he started getting ripped apart by people. So the dude from Phoenix Ammunition, I don't know if you guys ever ordered ammo from him. He said, like, stop being weird, you guys. Basically, that bullets do weird shit. So, okay, maybe that's the explanation. But a lot of freaking people that are ballistics experts jumped on him and were like, no, dude, like, there's no way his neck is stopping that round. So I don't know. That seems to be an open debate right now, back and forth. But it's very strange to me. 30-06 is a big, powerful round. So I don't know, man. But that's all of, like, what we know, the weird stuff. Now I have to get into the tinfoily stuff. So this is what a lot of people are getting really mad about. The people trying to attach Israel to this. Now, as you guys know, I am not a fan of Israel at all. But just because I'm not a fan of Israel doesn't mean I'm going to immediately jump to the conclusion that Israel did this. A lot of people are trying to make that the case. And I'm not going to say, I don't think you should start with a conclusion and work backwards to try and make everything fit that conclusion. But I'm also not going to say that you shouldn't look into stuff. So I think it's personally perfectly rational to be questioning things. And could Israel take them out? Yes. Would Israel take them out? Take him out? I mean, if you ask me, yeah, Israel's evil. The government of Israel is evil, and they will do. They assassinate tons of people. I mean, you saw the pager thing, like how well thought out that thing was. How many years in advance they planned that one out. The allegations of Israeli IDF soldiers shooting kids in line to get food. So, like, could they do it? Would they do it? Yes, if they had motive to do so. I guess the question is, do they have motive to do so? That's the question. The thing is, even if they had the motive, the opportunity, and the ability to do it, did they do it? I still don't think so. Like, this is like an Occam's razor thing. It does make sense with everything we just went over that Thomas Robinson is the most likely culprit for this. So I don't know. There is a video clip showing an alleged muzzle shot from a different location, or a muzzle flash from a different location, but I don't know how convincing that is. So I am not on the Israel did this camp. I'm not in that camp, but I'm at least going to talk about why some people are in that camp. So we'll get into it and how all this started and who is saying what. So we'll start with Harrison Smith. because that's where this whole conversation started, the whole Israel aspect of it. And this is from a post he put out back in August of this year, August 13th. He says he's reacting to a clip from Ian Carroll where Charlie Kirk was like refusing to debate Nick Fuentes. Somebody called in to Charlie Kirk's show and asked him why he won't debate Nick Fuentes. Charlie Kirk basically says, I don't platform people that aren't arguing in good faith. I don't platform trolls, is what he said. That's sort of irrelevant. What Harrison Smith said back in August, long before Charlie Kirk's assassination, is he says, I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. So that's how this whole thing started, was this tweet went mega viral after the Charlie Kirk assassination. So it went viral when he initially posted this, but after Charlie's assassination, everybody was like, oh my God, Israel did it because of Harrison's post here. So then everybody started trying to connect the dots. So we'll keep going here. So the question here is, was Charlie changing his tune about Israel? So everybody knows that Charlie Kirk was extremely pro-Israel, very pro-Israel. But there were signs that he was starting to have second thoughts on his support for Israel. And the first thing is, way back a few weeks after October 7th, he went on the Patrick Bet-David podcast. And I played this back 2 years ago. I played this clip because from the beginning, after October 7th, when I didn't know anything about Israel, when October 7th happened, and I started looking into it, because my first thought when I started seeing all of the videos coming out after October 7th was like, this doesn't, like, with all the propaganda we saw during COVID and all the Russiagate propaganda, it smelled the same. The babies, it's like the Iraq war shit with the chick saying they were throwing babies out of incubators. They were throwing them on the floor. It turned out that turned out to be a lie. That was the same vibe I got off of them, saying that they were putting babies in ovens and that kind of thing. It was just a vibe that I got. So then I started looking into all of it. And one of the first clips I came across way back when was Charlie Kirk on the Patrick Bet-David podcast. And this is the clip.
I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu is basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. The whole country is. Yeah. And you're trying to tell me that they're going to concerts and kibbutzes and schools and by report. Okay. So Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, got a lot of backing from Israel. He had a lot of support from Israel. Him going on the Patrick Bet-David podcast, which is a very big podcast, and essentially accusing Israel of a false flag operation is a big deal. That probably pissed off a lot of people. And this was way back after a few weeks after October 7th, 2023. So this next clip is him on that same podcast
saying, why would they do that? Why did it take 6 hours for Israel to respond? And again, okay, so from my perspective, there is no evidence linking Israel to Charlie Kirk's assassination. There's no way to get from A to B. There's nothing there. This is all motive based. Would Israel have a reason to do it? Is what people are alleging. Thing is, even if you prove that they would have a reason to, how do you connect the dots after that? Because I'm not seeing it. But we are going to dive into, would Israel have a reason? Was Charlie Kirk moving away from his support to Israel? And this next clip is like even more controversial than what he just said. Why did it take 7 hours? Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order from the government to not go and intervene on the attacks and let Israelis die? Did the Israeli government allow their own citizens to be massacred? For what reason would they do that? Let's go to this clip, what he alleges, and what I've thought from the very beginning.
I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. This idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty, that's morally, after you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets.
Okay. So those two clips together, it seems like Charlie Kirk saw very early on, that it shouldn't have taken 6 hours to respond. Why would they allow all of their citizens to die? Well, now what you're seeing on the world stage, he says that they're going to ethically cleanse Gaza. They had, after October 7th, they had basically permission on the world stage to go and do whatever the hell they wanted to Gaza. And now you're seeing what's happening. They've turned it into a fucking parking lot. It's an absolute massacre there. And there's talk of getting everybody else out of there. So killing all of the terrorists, even though they're killing a lot more than terrorists. It's like 3 civilians to every 1 terrorist that they kill, according to Israeli officials, which I think it's a lot more than that. It's an absolute massacre. So why would Israel allow October 7th to happen? To give them precedent on the world stage to turn Gaza into a parking lot and do an ethnic cleansing. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So that's a pretty bold claim for Charlie to make, and it probably pissed off a lot of Israeli soldiers or Israeli supporters. That was way back in 2023. So let's keep going. Let's see if he had any other anti-Israeli views starting to creep out. So this is from Candace. Again, people are very angry at Candace. Candace Owens reveals information regarding one of the last meetings Charlie Kirk turned down. In one of their last meetings, Charlie Kirk turned down Israeli money. She claims both Bill Ackman and Seth Dillon were at this meeting in the Hamptons and calling for them to release their own text messages for transparency. She's visibly bothered by the way Netanyahu and company are spinning their last meetings with Charlie Kirk, changing attitude towards Israel and Judeo-Christianity. So let's watch this clip from Candace, because apparently, according to Candace, there was they had an intervention for Charlie in the Hamptons. Like, hey man, we're going to fund you, but you got to stop talking about your anti-Israel stuff. You got to tone it back. They already lost Candace. They lost Tucker Carlson. They're starting to lose Megyn Kelly. They can't lose Charlie. So, and again, I'm not saying that this means Israel took him out. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that that Charlie did appear to be changing his perspective on the Israeli government in the months leading up to his assassination. Again, I'm not saying Israel did it.
Denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as re-education camp. We've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. We just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture. Yeah. We just need you to come to the Holocaust Museum and take a photo. We just need you to go to Israel and we can make this better. Charlie said no to Bibi. Okay. Bill Ackman, if you would like to dispute that, I would love to hear what you say happened, because our sources and what we have, it's solid. Okay. There were conversations that took place, messages that were sent at that time, and they are solid. So I decided another person that was there, and I am not surprised this person was there. If you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon. I was going to go out to Seth Dillon, and I decided to message him last night about this Hamptons meeting. And Seth Dillon, who is normally very quick with a response, has not yet been able to respond. I'll show you this text message chain. And I want to be clear, I am not someone who normally publicizes
Seth Dillon runs the Babylon Bee, by the way.
Text messages. But my friend was shot in the neck. And I'm just not really in the state right now to be polite when it comes to the answers that I am demanding. Okay. This is me out to Seth Dillon last night. I sent him Bill Ackman's tweet because, you know, he tweeted, I feel incredibly privileged to have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. I said, any comment on this one?
Okay, so we'll keep going here. All right, Anomaly posted this. This is a conversation between Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly. So this was after this meeting in the Hamptons, like the next day or the following days. Charlie Kirk went on a podcast with Megyn Kelly, and he's talking about pressure he was getting in regards to speaking out against what he didn't agree with in terms of what Israel's doing. So this is Charlie explaining how he seems to be getting a lot of pressure to not talk negatively about what Israel is doing in Gaza or Iran or Lebanon or Yemen. So listen to this clip.
Like I see what's happening, and it's my job to comment honestly on it. But I am sick of being lectured on, like, you have to see it exactly as we see it and support everything, or you're against us.
So this is so important, Megyn. And again, I don't want, you cannot say everyone in the pro-Israel, and I don't say it, acts that way. But I got texts about you, Megyn, saying, why is Megyn like doing the bidding of Hamas? I was like, what are you talking about? Megyn's the best. Like, what? Like, she's amazing. And I said, why are you texting me about Megyn? And I at that point, and so this is what they don't understand. You and I, Megyn, and Tucker is in the same category, and they've tried to go after Tucker.
Yeah.
Is that the more you attack our moral character, the more we're going to double down in a direction, because 100%. Screw you, I don't do it that way. Okay.
Right.
Like tell me I'm wrong. Cool. Tell me if I got my facts wrong. By the way, on the Epstein thing, Naftali Bennett says he wasn't an Epstein agent. We have to be pursuers of truth. They've denied it. Fine. Let's keep digging. Okay. Fine. But the thing that I think is being lost is, like, on some part of the population, you can scold them into silence, right? But if I have any deviation of a purity test, any deviation whatsoever, such as hosting a focus group, right, Megyn, with a bunch of our students that went viral, having Dave Smith or Tucker at my event, it is all of a sudden, oh, Charlie is he's no longer with us and all that. I said, wait a second, what do you mean? What does with us mean exactly, right? I'm an American, okay? Like, I represent this country, and I don't even understand that paradigm. But Megyn, I think you would agree with this. I want to make sure we really zero in on this. Personality types like you, myself, and Tucker, the more that you guys privately and publicly call our character into question, which is not isolated, right? Megyn, it would be one thing if it was one text or two texts. It is dozens of texts.
Yes.
Then we start to say, hold the boat here. And to be fair, some of my really good Jewish friends are like, that's not all of us, it's all, but these are leaders too, though, right? These are stakeholders, right? And so, look, I'm afraid, because again, I want civilization to win. I want the West to win. I don't want the Islamo-fascist barbarians to storm the gates of Jerusalem. I want the holy sites protected. I believe in the Holy Land. I love that Jesus walked on water there and rose from the dead and preached in the Mount of Beatitudes. Like I feel the connection to Israel. But at the same time, simultaneously, when the hostile reaction is that now Megyn and Charlie are enemies,
right?
Boy, I'll tell you, like you're not gonna, I wouldn't say lose, but you will weaken and just basically deflate two of your strongest advocates if that continues.
Right. And to me, I laugh because it's like, I've been bullied by the best of them, the best. And it didn't work. And it's not going to work with them. The more you try to tell me I can't criticize Israel, the more likely I am to do it, to focus on exactly what you're doing, right? Like what are you doing that you're so defensive? You don't own me. I don't take $1 of money from any Jewish affiliated group. That's never been what my show's model. I take, Cozy Earth is my sponsor. People like Genucel. Those are the people I take. And I probably would feel reluctant to criticize Genucel, which is a great product. So I probably wouldn't do it anyway. My point is simply, I have my honest opinions, which is why I had credibility for the 2 years I've been defending them, right? And I still have that credibility. And I don't need lectures from my friends who are more pro-Israel than I am, or who are just American Jewish people who are concerned about what's happening. I don't need lectures on my coverage, okay? I'll call it like I see it. And you have no right to come on this show and demand a debate with me because I've said something you disagree with. It's my show, and I'll decide the coverage we do here.
All right. So Charlie was noticing. He was noticing a couple of things. He was noticing that anytime he hosted somebody like Tucker Carlson or Dave Smith, who are very against what Israel is doing in terms of what they're doing in Gaza and how much influence they have over our politics, they were very outspoken against that. And Charlie invited them on stage to have an open discussion about that, because that's what Charlie was about, having open dialogue and debate. Let's flush out the truth. Let's see what's real and what's not. And the more Charlie did that, the more pushback he would get from very powerful people within the Israel sphere, sometimes the government. And the more that happened to Charlie, the more Charlie was like, what the hell is going on here? This is weird. Like this is weird. And it's only going to make me want to look into things more. So Charlie seemed to be noticing some things. So this was only a couple of days before Charlie's assassination. I believe this is the clip with him and Ben Shapiro.
And one thing a friend sent to me, interestingly.
Watch Ben Shapiro's face in this one.
Which is, okay, Charlie, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, so like maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything.
You see that look on Ben's face? Like, how dare you? Are you really asking me about Israel? Are you really being critical of Israel right now? That's the look on Ben's face right there. He can't believe the audacity of Charlie Kirk questioning him on that. Charlie is just coming from the perspective like, I thought we're friends. I thought we could talk openly about stuff. Not the case.
The media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So, Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse.
Okay, this is a tweet from Benjamin Netanyahu. Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking the truth and defending freedom. A lion-hearted friend of Israel, he fought the lies and stood tall for Judeo-Christian civilization. I spoke to him only 2 weeks ago and invited him to Israel. Sadly, that visit will not take place. Apparently, Charlie declined that visit, is the rumor. We lost an incredible human being. His boundless pride in America and his valiant belief in free speech will leave a lasting impact. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Okay. Pardon the music. No, that's just giving you time to read the tweet. Okay, so here is another clip of Charlie being critical of Israel. Let's just watch this one. This is him on his own show by himself.
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. In fact, we have seen this with the recent retreat of Jewish donations that are no longer going to be administered to colleges, right? Mark Rowan, Leon Kaufman. Can we get that full list? It's very powerful. The part of so that's totally true. And by the way, Tucker Carlson reinforces this. So I'm going to it was quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Candace Owens. We have Candace Owens coming up next hour. And Tucker Carlson mentions that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. We said this, by the way, last week, and people came after us. We actually said it in a different way. We said, I'm glad that Jewish Americans are reconsidering their financing of cultural Marxism. And people misunderstood it intentionally and slandered us as being anti-Semites. But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country.
Not allowed to say that, Charlie. Not allowed to point that out or talk about it. All right. Charlie also got a lot of criticism for allowing Dave Smith at I believe this was at AmFest. It was either AmFest or it was a TPUSA event, or Turning Point USA event. And he allowed Dave Smith on stage to debate Josh Hammer, who is a very pro-Israel Zionist dude. And Dave Smith has already debated him once before. I believe he debated him at Yale, and Dave ripped him to shreds. Absolutely ripped him to shreds. And Charlie was getting a lot of criticism from very powerful people about allowing Dave Smith on stage to debate these things. So here's a quick clip of Dave at that event during that debate. So they were not happy with the stuff that Dave was saying. They were
Is Israel an ally?
very unhappy that Charlie Kirk allowed Dave Smith to speak at this, because Dave Smith is very anti-Israel.
Is Israel an ally of the United States?
No.
Do you say Israel is not an ally? That is not an opinion that people hear a lot. Why is that?
They have been constantly pushing America toward more aggressive policies, toward getting in more fights. And just like I always say, if you went out to the bar every single night with your friend, and every night your friend's trying to convince you to get into a fight, and while you're beating a lot of people up, you're also taking a lot of wounds, and you're going to jail, and you're getting in trouble, you got to stop hanging out with that friend. And so I think that you know what? I also don't believe in welfare, and they shouldn't get another dime of U.S. taxpayer money, and they should not.
So
hold on. Their lobby should register as a foreign.
That's a good segue. Finish that.
And they should stop blackmailing our politics.
Got it. So back to Josh. Is Israel an?
So he got a lot of criticism for allowing Dave Smith on stage to debate Josh Hammer about that. Let's keep going here, because there's more. So what's this one? We're getting there. We're almost there, folks. So, okay. So apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene shared private text messages between her and Charlie Kirk asking if she wanted to debate about AIPAC. Marjorie Taylor Greene's statement: Charlie Kirk invited me to speak at AmFest a few weeks ago before he was martyred. This was after I called for AIPAC to register under FARA and said that's for AIPAC to register as a foreign entity. By law, they're supposed to, but they say no. These are Americans, so they don't need to register as a foreign agent, even though all they do is lobby for Israeli funding. And a lot of people say, look how much money AIPAC puts into politicians. It's not just AIPAC, it's other organizations that represent Israel as well. And money gets funneled through AIPAC. Money gets spread all over the place. There's a ton of Israeli influence in American government. A lot of people say, Qatar funds them too. You don't see Qatari flags being flown in offices of houses of representatives. It's the amount of Israeli influence over our government is off the charts. This was after I called for AIPAC to register under FARA and said that the nuclear-armed secular government of Israel was committing genocide in Gaza and killing innocent children, Christians, and people. That's weird. That's phrased weirdly. Those are all people. He asked if I wanted to debate about AIPAC, but made it clear not against him. He said him, TPUSA, would do whatever I want on the issue. If you don't know who to believe between Bibi Netanyahu, a foreign country's leader, or Charlie Person's friends, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I'm posting my last text message with Charlie. I believe Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, and at the same time, always remember Charlie Kirk is an American Christian. Charlie Kirk is a devoted, loving husband and father. Charlie Kirk is a Christian movement leader, a giant in American history. Charlie Kirk is a Christian martyr for Jesus Christ. Charlie Kirk is a free speech warrior and was committed to non-violent debate. Do not allow foreign country, foreign assets, and other religion tell you about Charlie Kirk. And I hope a foreign country and foreign agents and other religion does not take over Christian patriotic turning point, USA. So she seems to be speaking that she doesn't want Ben Shapiro taking it over because that seems to be what's happening. So yeah, this is just a text exchange saying that she was invited to debate at AmFest regarding AIPAC. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican, has been very outspoken against Israel lately too, and people probably weren't too happy that Charlie was going to allow her on stage too. It seems that Charlie recently was giving a lot more thought to whether, essentially what he asked Dave Smith, is Israel our ally? And Charlie seemed to be second guessing that presumption that Israel is our greatest ally. So like that's the question that he seemed to be grappling with lately. Is Israel really our greatest ally? So this article, I'm going to read the whole thing because this is what Max Blumenthal with the Grayzone put out. And this all started with Harrison Smith's tweet that I read earlier, that someone close to Charlie said that Charlie was worried that Israel would take him out if he kept criticizing Israel, essentially. And Max Blumenthal put out this fairly long article, which I'm going to read the whole thing. Okay. A Trump insider and longtime friend of Charlie Kirk tells the Grayzone how the assassinated conservatives leader turning point on Israeli influence provoked a private backlash from Netanyahu's allies that left him angry and afraid. The source explains anxiety spread within the Trump administration after an apparent Israeli spying operation was uncovered. Charlie Kirk rejected an offer earlier this year from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to arrange a massive new infusion of Zionist money into his Turning Point USA, TPUSA organization, America's largest conservative youth association, according to a longtime friend of the slain commentator speaking on the condition of anonymity. The source told, so this is, I don't know if this is the same source that spoke to Harrison Smith. This might be a completely different person. The source told the Grayzone that the late pro-Trump influencer believed Netanyahu was trying to cow him into silence as he began to publicly question Israelis' overwhelming influence in Washington and demanded more space to criticize it. In the weeks leading up to his September 10th assassination, Kirk had come to loathe the Israeli leader, regarding him as a bully, the source said. Kirk was disgusted by what witnesses inside the Trump administration, where Netanyahu sought to personally dictate the president's personal decisions and weaponize Israeli assets like billionaire donor Miriam Adelson to keep the White House firmly under his thumb. So this is sort of like, you know, this article came out right after Charlie Kirk's assassination. So it seems like they're trying to like connect the two, the assassination with Israel. I'm not there. But it doesn't mean I'm just going to dismiss it. I'm not going to completely dismiss this. I'm not there. I don't know what to believe in terms of Charlie Kirk's assassination, but I'm not going to dismiss anything outright because it's anti-Semitic or I'm told not to. In fact, the more I'm told not to look at this, the more I'm going to look at it. So I'll keep reading. According to Kirk's friend, who also enjoyed access to President Trump and his inner circle, Kirk strongly warned, okay, so whoever the source is also has access to Trump. So this is somebody high up in TPUSA or not involved in TPUSA, just happens to be Charlie's friend. Who is this person? Like, whoever this person is, if they came out on the record, this would like help a lot in terms of knowing what's really going on here. Kirk strongly warned Trump last June against bombing Iran on Israel's behalf. Charlie was the person, this is in quotes, this is a quote. Charlie was the only person who did that, they said, recalling how Trump barked at him in response and angrily shut down the conversation. The source believes the incident confirmed in Kirk's mind that the president of the United States had fallen under the control of a malign foreign power and was leading his own country into a series of disastrous conflicts. By the following month, Kirk had been the target of a sustained private campaign of intimidation and free-floating fury by wealthy and powerful allies of Netanyahu, figures he described in an interview with Jewish leaders and stakeholders. He was afraid of them, the source emphasized. At TPUSA, the rift with Israel widens. Kirk was 18 when he launched TPUSA in 2012. From its inception, his career was propelled by Zionist donors who showered his young organization with money through neoconservative outfits like David Horowitz's Freedom Center. He repaid his wealthy backers over the years by unleashing a relentless fire hose of anti-Palestine and Islamophobic diatribes. Max Blumenthal is also a leftist. Accepting propaganda trips to Israel and sternly shutting down nationalist forces challenging his support for Israel during TPUSA events. In the Trump era, few American Gentiles had proved more valuable to the self-proclaimed Jewish state than Charlie Kirk. But as Israel's genocidal assault on the besieged Gaza Strip drove an unprecedented backlash within grassroots right-wing circles, where only 24% of younger Republicans now sympathize with Israel over Palestinians, Kirk began to shift. At times, he towed the Israeli line, spreading disinformation about babies beheaded by Hamas on October 7th. And denying the famine imposed on the population of Gaza. Yet he simultaneously ceded to his base, wondering aloud if Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli intelligence asset, questioning whether the Israeli government allowed October 7th attacks to proceed in order to advance long-term political goals, and parroting narratives familiar to his most vociferous critics on the right, streamer Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes doesn't believe Israel did this, by the way. So I'll just throw that out there. Even Nick Fuentes he's not seeing the connection here. This July at his TPUSA Student Action Summit, Kirk provided a forum where the right-wing grassroots to vent its fury about Israel's political hammerlock on the Trump administration. There, speakers from former Fox News stalwarts Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly to the anti-Zionist Jewish comedian Dave Smith denounced Israel's blood-soaked assault on the besieged Gaza Strip, branded Jeffrey Epstein as an Israeli intelligence asset, and openly taunted Zionist billionaires like Bill Ackman for getting away with scams despite having no actual skills. Which, I'm not going to play that video. I don't have time. Following the confab, Kirk was bombarded with infuriated text messages and phone calls from Netanyahu's wealthy allies in the U.S., including many who had funded TPUSA. According to his longtime friend, the Zionist donors treated Kirk with outright contempt, essentially ordering him to fall back into line. He was being, this is in quotes, this is a quote, he was being told that you're not allowed to do, he was being told what you're not allowed to do, and it was driving him crazy. Kirk's friend recalled the conservative youth leader was not only alienated by hostile nature of interactions but frightened by the backlash. The friend's account dovetails with those of multiple right-wing commentators with access to Kirk. I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. Candace Owens, a conservative influencer who shifted decisively against Israel after October 7th. reflected after her friend's killing. I know it. He was going through a lot. There's a lot of pressure, and it's hard for me to watch the people who are pressuring him to say things that they're saying. She continued, they wanted him to lose everything for challenging or even slightly modifying an opinion. It's very hurtful to me. Kirk appeared visibly outraged during an August 6th interview with conservative host Megyn Kelly, which I played earlier, as he discussed menacing messages he was receiving from pro-Israel bigwigs. It's all of a sudden, oh, Charlie, he's no longer with us. Wait a second. What does that mean? Exactly. I'm an American, okay? I represent this country, he explained before addressing the powerful Zionist interests harassing him. The more you guys privately and publicly call our character into question, which is not isolated, it would be one thing if it were just one text or two texts. It's dozens of texts. Then we started to say, whoa, hold on, hold the boat there, Kirk continued. To be fair, some really good Jewish friends say, that's not all of us, but these are leaders here. These are stakeholders. He went on to complain to Kelly, I have less ability to criticize the Israeli government than actual Israelis do. And that's really, really weird. In one of his final interviews conducted with Israel's premier influencer in the United States, Ben Shapiro, Kirk once again tried to raise the issues of censorship of Israeli critics. A friend said to me, interestingly, Charlie, okay, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. Kirk told Shapiro on September 9th, maybe we should also ask the question, wow, that was the day before he died. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question. Just asking questions. According to Kirk's longtime friend, Kirk's resentment of Netanyahu and the Israeli lobby was spreading within Trump's inner circle. In fact, they said the president himself was terrified of Netanyahu's wrath and feared consequences of defying him. So that's a bold claim right there that Trump is scared too. During the past year, the Trump insider was told by contacts in the White House that this Secret Service had caught Israeli government personally placing electronic devices on emergency response vehicles on 2 separate occasions. So these are emergency response vehicles that Trump would get into if something happened to him. Israeli spies were placing freaking electronic devices on them. That's insane. While the Grayzone was unable to confirm the story with the Secret Service or White House, such an incident would not have been unprecedented. Indeed, according to the report in Politico, citing the former U.S. officials, a cell phone spying device was placed by Israeli agents near the White House and other sensitive locations around Washington toward the end of Trump's first term. Didn't Bibi personally bug the British Prime Minister's bathroom? Oh shit! Okay, dude, I haven't read this article yet. Sorry, that's the next thing he talks about. The former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson recounted a similar incident in his memoir, writing that his secretary team found a listening device in his bathroom soon after Netanyahu used his personal toilet. That's crazy. Okay, sorry. The Israeli did it theory. Okay, so here's the huge controversy. All right, so this is the Israel did it theory. Kirk was killed this September 10th with a single shot fired by a sniper apparently positioned on a rooftop 200 meters away. He was shot while seated before a crowd of thousands at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, on the first leg of his American comeback tour. The scene, that was his first stop. Interesting. His very first stop, okay. The scene of Kirk collapsing from the impact of a gunshot wound to his neck is just as he began answering a question about transgender mass shooters was perhaps the most shocking, vivid spectacle of the assassination, and certainly the most viral in human history. There is currently no evidence of an Israeli government role in Kirk's assassination. I'm going to emphasize that again. He explicitly states that in this article. There's currently no evidence of an Israeli government role in Kirk's assassination. However, that has not stopped thousands of social media users from speculating that the pro-Trump operatives' shifting views on the issue contributed in some way to his death. By the time of the publication, over 100,000 Twitter users have liked a September 11th post by libertarian influencer Ian Carroll declaring about Kirk, he was their friend, he basically dedicated his life to them, and they murdered him in front of his family. Israel just shot themselves. Okay, so Ian Carroll is the one influencer that fully came out and said Israel did it. And even Candace didn't do that. Max Blumenthal's not doing it here. Tucker didn't do it. Only Ian Carroll. And you see people attacking all the people I just mentioned, that saying that they're claiming Israel did it. Nobody explicitly stated that Israel did it, except for Ian Carroll. Many advancing the unsubstantiated theory, again, he emphasizes unsubstantiated theory, have pointed to a Twitter X post by Harrison Smith. That's what I read earlier. A personality at the pro-Trump InfoWars network stating on August 13th, almost a month before Kirk's assassination, that he was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Kirk thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against Israel. A frenzied speculation has set off shockwaves in Tel Aviv, where Netanyahu was compelled to explicitly deny his government killed Kirk during a September 11th interview with Newsmax. All right. Netanyahu and his allies bury the Kirk crisis as big tent collapses. That appearance was one of several interviews and statements the prime minister dedicated to Kirk in the wake of his killing in an effort to frame the late conservative leader's legacy in a uniformly pro-Israel light. The major public relations push has occurred while Netanyahu wages a military campaign on 7 fronts, punctuated by a regional assassination spree that most recently reached into the heart of Qatar, a U.S. ally. Netanyahu first tweeted prayers for Charlie Kirk at 3:02 p.m. in the afternoon on September 10th, minutes after the news of the shooting broke. He has since authored 3 additional posts about Kirk, even breaking away from the Israeli war cabinet to spend the afternoon of September 11th memorializing the conservative leader on Fox News. During the interview, Netanyahu did his best to insinuate that Israel's enemies were responsible for murdering Kirk. So Netanyahu came out and blamed like Islam for Charlie Kirk's murder. So it's ironic to me that's like, how dare you claim that Israel had anything to do with this? At the same time, the prime minister of Israel is saying that Islam did it with zero evidence as well. So it's ironic. It's just totally hypocritical, you know? Like, you can't question Israel's motives, but at the same time, you can totally say that Islam killed Charlie Kirk without a shred of evidence. This is a quote from Benjamin Netanyahu. The radical Islamists and their union with the ultra-progressives, they often speak about human rights. They speak about free speech, but they use violence to try to take down their enemies, the prime minister told Harris Faulkner. In a September 10th Twitter X post eulogizing the conservative leader, the Israeli prime minister described a recent phone call with Kirk. I spoke to him 2 weeks ago and invited him to Israel. Netanyahu declared sadly that the visit will never take place because Charlie turned it down, apparently. Left unmentioned was whether Kirk declined the invitation, just as he did with the prime minister's offer to reload TPUSA's coffers with donations from his coterie of wealthy American Jewish cutouts. So apparently Charlie turned down a bunch of money as well. At the time of publication, a 22-year-old resident of Utah has been taken into custody after supposedly confessing to the killing Kirk. But I didn't mention this whole episode. What's his name? I've been saying his name all episode. Tyler Robinson, is that his name? Is not cooperating. He has not confessed. So he turned himself in apparently, but he has not confessed. But then I heard his dad turned him in. So anyway, perhaps they will fuel. The public may soon learn the true motives of the alleged assassin. Perhaps they will fuel the narrative which Trump and his allies advanced in the immediate wake of the shooting, that a leftist radical was responsible and that a wave of draconian repression must follow. But after the shooter's initial escape and a series of federal law enforcement mishaps, a large sector of Americans will likely never believe the official story, nor will they ever know where Kirk's turning point on Israel would have taken the conservative movement. 4 days before the assassination, frustration among pro-Israel commentators bubbled over in public during a Fox News interview in which Shapiro launched a chilling attack on Kirk without naming him. The problem with a big tent, this is a quote from Ben Shapiro, the problem with a big tent is that you may end up with many clowns inside, Shapiro told Fox host and fellow Zionist gatekeeper Mark Levin in an apparent critique of TPUSA. Just because you're saying somebody votes Republican, that doesn't mean they ought to be the preacher at the front of the church. They're not the person that ought to be leading the movement. If they are spending all day criticizing the president of the United States as covering up Mossad rape ring or being a tool of the Israelis for hitting an Iranian nuclear facility. Yeah. When Kirk took his usual place at the front of the church 4 days later, he was cut down by a sniper's bullet. Within 24 hours of Kirk's death, Shapiro announced that he would be launching his own campus speaking tour, vowing, "We're going to pick up the bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it." All right. So that's Max Blumenthal's article. Okay. Let's keep going here because Max Blumenthal followed up with all right, so he's got 2 posts here. So Max Blumenthal says, since publishing the article that I just read to you guys, I've learned more from someone present at the Hamptons meeting. Ackman convened the influencers under the auspices of a discussion about Zohran Mamdani and the supposed threat he posed to the West if elected mayor of New York. But the meeting went off the rails when Ackman personally confronted Kirk about his views on Israel. An unknown British woman joined the argument and began screaming at Kirk, according to the attendee. So Bill Ackman also wrote a really long response to Candace Owens because Candace Owens called him out directly. Okay, so Max quotes his own thing and he says, I've been informed by someone present at the Hamptons retreat that the British woman screaming at Charlie Kirk about Israel was Natasha Hosdorf, a mouthpiece for the UK Lawyers of Israel Trust and ally of Douglas Murray. Hosdorf lit a torch at Israel's Independence Day in 2025. I believe that's the lady that was just on Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan went off on her pretty hard. So, all right, folks, we're almost done. We're getting there. I appreciate you guys if you're still here. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right. So this is a quick clip from Tucker Carlson on his show criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, talking about how Charlie didn't like him.
He did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu. He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people. And there's no question that Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact. And enough text messages exist that I think it can probably be verified in pretty short order. Not that it needs to be, because that is true. He did not like Bibi Netanyahu.
All right. So that's Tucker Carlson claiming that Charlie Kirk did not like Benjamin Netanyahu, and Charlie Kirk told him so several times and people around him. All right. So one more clip of Tucker, this time with Megyn Kelly. Let me know if you guys got audio. Hopefully you guys have audio. I think you have audio. I hope you have audio. Someone let me know in the chat. Let me check the chat really quick. All right. Hopefully you guys have audio on this. Okay, cool. Thanks, Lonnie. All right, let's play this quick clip. Tucker with Megyn Kelly. Lonnie, I can't believe you're still here. Thanks, man.
He was one of the only people, I mean, truly one of the only people to go to the president whom he loved. He loved Donald Trump, like personally as well. And I think,
thanks, boss Tina. Glad you're still here.
The president really loved him in a real way. But he was one of the only people to go to the Oval Office and say, sir, I totally understand and think Iran's really bad, but a war with Iran is not, is something that could really hurt our country. I mean, boy, that was an unpopular position. He didn't need to express it. Oh, of course. And he did it again. He didn't have some weird agenda. He wasn't mad at anybody. He was for his country, and he was for doing the right and wise and difficult thing. And he said that. He went to the Oval Office to say that. He took massive abuse from his own donors, which is also something that you don't see people. And he loved his donors. It wasn't a hostile thing, but they had a different view. A lot of them, not all, but a lot. And they expressed it to him in a very intense way. I know because he showed me. And he said, look, I understand your perspective. This is my perspective. And we're going to do what we think is the right thing, the wise thing.
In that way, too, he was the voice of young people. I mean, there are no young people in the country anymore supporting this war and wanting Israel to continue its bombing campaign. That's just the truth. Look at the.
So that lends more credence to why Charlie Kirk was so important to toe the line for Israel, because he has such an influence over young people. He was going to college campuses arguing these things. And there was a clip I was going to play with somebody arguing back against Charlie, and Charlie actually kind of got owned on the Israel thing. And I should have pulled that clip up. And I think this young man, I believe it was over in the UK. I think he was at like Oxford University or something. And this kid knew what he was talking about. And after that kid really pushed back on Charlie's pro-Israel stance, just the look on Charlie's face, you could kind of see that he like accepted defeat on that argument. And I feel like that single back and forth with that kid really started making him rethink his position on Israel. Because I think the best thing about Charlie was that he wasn't married to his positions. If he was going to be presented with new evidence that contradicts or completely defeats any of his own arguments, he's going to look at that honestly and he's going to reflect on it. Because from everything I can tell, Charlie was a very moral man, and he was an honest man and a good man. And he didn't want to be some mouthpiece for anybody. His ideas were his own. His principles were his own. His thoughts were his own. And if presented with new evidence, he would rethink his own positions. And I think that's why he started making this turn the way he did. Again, I'm not saying that Israel had anything to do with this, but if Charlie was that important to Israel in terms of spreading pro-Israel propaganda to the youth, and they knew that Charlie was taking a turn against Israel, would they have the motive to take him out? And are they evil enough to do it? Yes, I think they would be. That doesn't mean they did. That doesn't mean that there's any evidence to support that they did. But would they be willing to do it? Benjamin Netanyahu? Yes. I think that man is Satan. So I'll leave that there and continue with this clip.
Polls, and he was in touch with them. And even where his own opinion may have differed from their opinion, he felt like he owed it to them to bring their message to the sitting president of the United States. I mean, it was that's what's been snuffed out.
Well, as he has been, unfortunately, but he was one of the very few people I have met who combined a love for everyone involved with strong views. So again, he was not animated by anything creepy or weird. I mean, you knew him intimately, so you know this is true. If you talk to him off camera, he would say, I really I love whoever I'm talking about, but I think this is wrong. It's immoral. It's bad for everybody involved, both sides. And he would say that, and he could say that because it was sincere. It was completely sincere, but I cannot overstate the amount of attacks he took privately over this, absolutely for real. And having lived in Washington most of my life and seen people run nonprofits, I've never met one who was willing. Stand up is too strong. He wasn't confrontational, but he would just say, no, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I think this is the right thing. The people we represent, which is mostly young people, they believe this, and I believe it also. It was brave, but loving at the same time. And I'm not sure he made a lot of headway, by the way. I mean, I think he made real enemies in doing that, but his view didn't change. Anyway.
All right. I got one more clip for you guys. So long show, marathon episode, I know, but I wanted to make sure I covered everything that I could. So we're going to end this show with Benjamin Netanyahu telling us how Israel didn't have anything to do with Charlie Kirk's killing. And the more this guy says we didn't do something, the more I want to look into whether they did something, because this man is an absolute liar. That doesn't mean I think Israel did it. So here's a clip of Benjamin Netanyahu. But thou doth protesteth too much, if you ask me.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of...
He welcomed the criticism. Yes, he sent his henchmen to shake Charlie down and offered him money and wanted to send him to Israel. Doesn't seem like he was okay. Look at that. I paused it at the perfect time, too. Like, how evil does this guy look right here? I can't stand Benjamin Netanyahu, this evil son of a bitch.
A free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing. Joseph
throws in the Qatari funding thing there at the end, as he blames. Anytime you hear somebody criticize Israel, you hear, oh, this person's funded by Qatar. It's frustrating. Are some people? Maybe. Do I think Tucker Carlson is? No. Do I think Candace Owens is? No. Do I think Megyn Carroll is? No. Am I? Hell no. I'm not funded by anybody. So everything I just talked about is from just me wanting to get all of everything out there and talk about it and give my feedback on it. I'm just some freaking tradesman. I'm just an AV guy from California, and I have a full-time job. This isn't my career. I'd like it to be someday, but I don't get paid for this. This is all my own stuff. So there's no outside influence on me with this. It's just my own observations and perspectives. So that is it. That is all I got for tonight. This was a long one. This is one of my longest episodes so far, almost 4 hours. Grant Street Garden, thanks for joining, man. Sorry you just got here. You only caught like the last 10 minutes of it, but this is a long episode. I don't know if you want to go back and rewatch it. I'd appreciate it if you did. I'd appreciate if you guys subscribed on YouTube. I'm not even monetized on YouTube, so you won't get any commercials watching my shows. So that's a benefit. I'd appreciate if you follow it on Twitter, follow it on Rumble, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe to the episode, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. Thank you everyone for being here. Danger, Boss Tina, Grant, Bob Tiergarden. Looks like NorCal. Were you in here too? Northside, sorry. Yeah, Northside, Bob Tiergarden, Casey Martin. All good to see all you guys. Thanks for hanging out for the entire episode. Rapunzel, Wally World. A lot of you guys tonight. Danny, Curb, man. Dude, Curb, nice to see you. I didn't know you're in here. Yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention to the comments tonight because I just want to make sure I was completely focused on this episode. So I'm going to I'm going to be streaming twice a week now. Not this week because I'm going to San Diego starting on Wednesday. But after that, I'm going to be doing an episode every Sunday and every Wednesday. No excuses. And I'm doing this because of how hard Charlie worked, and me having work all day long and then not having the time to put together an episode properly is just an excuse. So even if I'm going to be just going on here, clicking go live and just shooting from the hip, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do 2 episodes a week from now on, except for not next week, unless I'm being sent out of town or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to work harder because we need as many voices as we can, especially now that the conservative movement lost one of their biggest voices. And yeah, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. So thank you everybody for joining. No joke tonight. No Chuck Norris joke. It just doesn't feel right. So thanks everyone for being here, and I'll catch you next time. Good night, everybody.